with Global.Media.com. Every step forward is a new beat to your drum. Achieve success with Global.Media.com. Then celebrate it with or without champagne or rum.
Yay.
Hello.
Yay. We're here again,
Hello.
Paulette. We're here.
Hi.
I wonder who's here. Michelle, you're in the studio. I can see you, Michelle. I'm glad you're here. So our friend Carrie says the carrot cake visited a dating site. He said he was going to find his better half. Yeah. That's a Carrie joke, right? You know,
That's
it
a
always
character.
makes you giggle.
I was thinking about pancakes and whether or not it could have been a pancake visited the dating site. And he said he was there.
So you're like me. So you're like me. You try and work out what the answer is before you get there.
Yeah.
It never works out. Have you
Yeah.
noticed?
I like the
No,
carrot cake, but batter. I was thinking batter over here. We do pancake batter. So yeah. Hi,
It's
Nat.
all right. Welcome, Nat. Nat, we've got a plan for you. Right, 18th, Nat. 18th is the day, right? So when Miss Angelica's coming, and then we're coming up your way. So we're gonna go to Paulette's. We've got a plan for you. I'll tell you in good time. I'll tell you soon enough, right? So hold tight. I'm glad you're here though. You do your thing. Dr. Leslie,
Hi,
welcome.
Leslie.
Great show today as always. Who was it here? Deborah.
Yes, Deborah. Hi,
Welcome.
Deborah.
Michael, you're at work. You can't be here and at work, Michael.
Habaragani. I like to say that and I can do it properly. Habaragani.
I won't even
You have
try.
to get the
Michelle
there she
Whiteside,
is. Come on up, you
You're
come.
here. Is she here? No, well, have you given her the link?
No, I don't. I told you. I don't know anything about no links. That's your job. It's all I can do to get myself here.
All right. I'm trying.
You're trying.
So,
Girl, you should have seen the state of me half an hour ago.
I haven't started my event stream yet. Michelle, I'm sending you a link now.
Are we started?
Yes, we've started. So they can see you, Paulette. They can hear you.
Hello,
so
everybody.
There's no more saying anything nice about anyone, right?
I would only say nice things, you know that.
I could say that, and I'm not saying anything rude, but we'll never say anything rude about anyone anyway. So, all right, Michelle, I've just sent you the link, the StreamYard link. So, anyway, Paul, how's life going with you? Now you got your voice back.
Life?
You're back to your usual self, right?
It was crackling away earlier. I was like, no. Yeah, it's okay. It's all right. As long as I don't overuse it, I'm fine.
So are you still at risk? Are you still at risk of?
Michelle says she's getting an echo.
You got two tabs open, Michelle. It means you can hear and you can hear the StreamYard and then the LinkedIn version as well. So close the LinkedIn. So close the LinkedIn tab.
No, I don't have anything opened.
Okay, that's all right. No, the echo's not from us.
Oh, okay.
Okay, hold on. Let's do some more welcomes whilst we're here.
So yes, Lois. Please. Hi, Lois.
Welcome.
From Netherlands. Natalie from Peterborough.
I don't know what you do quarterly, Natalie, but we'll worry about that. Yeah, we saw you, Carrie. We saw you. I'm glad we did.
We liked it, Carrie.
We laughed.
It's a good one.
Send me the link. I'll be in shortly. I'll send the link to your LinkedIn DM, Michelle. So please do join us. I'm trying to find those.
I had it to my WhatsApp and it was causing my poor brain overload. I was like, But anyway.
I'll let you address that.
Okay, let's have a look here. Carrie Kesson says, I wish I had a job to go to. Every job that I have put in has ghosted me or hired me and ghosted me. I have so much trouble with trying to get a job that is better than the church. Oh, Carrie, I know you've tried, my lovely. I really do. I really cannot believe, with all the cybersecurity stuff going on, that you haven't been snapped up. So I really believe that what you need to do is, maybe, I know you said people won't pay for it, but maybe people would pay for it online on LinkedIn rather than try and sell it locally. Why don't you offer a cybersecurity screening or something of people's systems, so that they can at least know that they're safe and don't have any viruses or something? Could you do that remotely? So you just take over their PC for an hour or two or half an hour, and you do a complete sweep through, find out all the problems, and you could charge for that, and people would pay for that service. Because I know there are people that are worried about what they have and haven't got on their PCs or laptops. I know I'm a nightmare. I download everything. Ben goes mad at me about me being so
You're
granny-ish.
the
I just
worst. You're
download
the
everything.
worst. You're the worst.
I am the worst. I'm like, oh, a shopping channel. Oh, let's have all that. And then I get reams of it. And I'm like, why have I got 5,000 emails? Because you don't delete any. But anyway, the point is, I'm sure that there would be a need for some kind of remote service. And I'll talk to Olabim Pay, because she may well know a way of doing it. Because you've got to get some money in. I know that, lovely, and it's important. So I've written your name down, Carrie. You're on the list of this week's my jobs. Okay, so there we are. That's what I've got planned for you, to talk to Olabim Pay and see if there's anything we can do remotely. There's so much that can be done remotely these days, so we'll give it a go. Here's Leanne. Hi, Leanne. Nice to see you. Thank you for
Welcome,
coming.
Michelle. What
And
happened to you, Michelle? You were on stage or in the studio just now. Come back, Michelle.
oh, we lost her. She fallen off.
Yeah, she'll come back. I'm sure she'll come back.
I left her with the gas man. There's Nat.
That's nice. So,
Yeah,
Worknesh, welcome. We
Worknesh.
see you. Thank you all for being here. I'm sure more will join us. The link to join the studio is in the comments. If you want me to send you the link, put the comments here so I can see it. Send me a DM. I won't see it because I'm here. Hint, right? Paulette, try and tell them, right? Send me a WhatsApp. I probably won't see it.
I get told off by any for sending him DMs, so don't send him a DM.
Don't send me DMs anywhere unless I put in the comments here. I can see it. Then I'll send you the link privately. Can you put the link in again, please, Michelle? I'll send you the link in a second. Okay, no. So welcome everyone. You know. I'm sure if you know what happens here, it is our mental wellness cafe, Paulette. It's where we talk mental wellness, not mental illness. We're not therapists. I'm not a therapist. I'm a psychologist, and Paulette is a counselor, a trained counselor. And so Michelle Whiteside is our therapist. Yes, in the US. So we are covered, but we're covered in terms of knowing what advice, suggestions to give to people, but we're not therapists. We can't fix your mental illness. I'm just saying that way you don't try and
we can support you and we can help you, but we cannot. All we can do is give you advice, and then really you would need to go and seek a proper licensed therapist if you actually had that kind of a problem. But to cover us, we always have a therapist in the room, and our therapist is Michelle G. Whiteside. So she has her own rooms as well, or audio rooms and things on LinkedIn. She used to. So everybody knows Michelle anyway, so that's always good. But it's just nice to know that in the event that somebody was upset by something or was emotional about something, they would feel there's someone in the room that could immediately tend to their needs. So it's just me making sure that I've really thought this through. And today's topic really shouldn't trigger anybody, because it's nothing that I'm going to say.
Hold on.
Sorry.
You can't run down the road
Holding on.
What I can help you with is your books, book writing, book editing, book publishing, and book sales, even book launches and bestseller campaigns. That's what I want to say. Right, I'm saying, are you in my
I
health
can wave some
anthology
books
folder?
at you. Hold on, I haven't finished yet.
Do so.
Now you're going to talk books. I might as well show off. I
It's
want
not
to
it's
show
not your
you a
turn
book. Oh,
yet.
I can't. Not yet. I'm not doing that yet. I'm not doing it yet. I'll do it in a minute.
Okay, no, so you can do it in a
So,
second.
right.
Are you in my
We
health
do need to
anthology?
get a bit polished here, Annie.
Are you
We're
gonna
like
join, are
little
you
and
gonna
large
join
and we're not good.
We're funny.
We're useless.
We have fun. That's the important thing, right?
We do
Are
have
you in
fun.
my? Are
And
you gonna be in my?
mental wellness is about that.
Are you gonna be in my health
Absolutely.
anthology? Yeah, excellent. Okay, so I'll tell you all about it, people. So my big project today, apart from publishing my clients' books, is this "I Survived" anthology. So I'm trying to find people who have survived a life-threatening illness, want to tell the story of how they survived. Simple as that. Literally, most people survive one of a mixture of four ways, Paulette. Either they're going to take medication, or they're going to change their lifestyle, or they're going to do mindset, and some go spiritual. Of course, some go exercise as well. So how did you survive your life-threatening illness? I'm not asking you. I'm saying that's what the book's all about, right? If you have a story to tell, we can learn from you. Then let's add your story to our book. So now Paulette's in it. Michael's definitely in it. So Michael Backswager.
Paulette's not in it.
Paulette's in it.
You're a
You in it?
devil.
I tell you, and it's in public now, Paulette. I've got two, Selena. I got two. I got more. I'm just being funny, right? Let's tell your story. Let's help it. See, if I got a chronic illness tomorrow, Paulette, I won't know what to do. I really want to know what to do. I want to know what saved all of you.
Smile and be happy.
And medication.
When you actually face that horrible situation, you are so grateful to see another day. There's nothing that can frighten you. There's nothing that can come close. And you wake up every day and you say thank you. Thank you for another day. So I believe that is the absolute truth. When you face that nasty situation, you are incredibly grateful to be here. And I don't often stand up to people because I don't need to, but there's a real lion inside this, Leo, that if you push me too far, my teeth come out, and my claws. But it's not who I am. What I am is sweetness and light. But
yeah, you are.
I
And
have
anything
that
else
in
is
me.
scary.
I do have it. I do have it in me. It has to be said.
You're much nicer now.
But
Linda, welcome. Go on.
I was going to
Let's
say it's
finish it.
really it is interesting to think how many people just in our LinkedIn family, as it were, who have had near-death experiences, and we're here. And what we have to do is remember that medication and how fantastic our doctors and nurses are, and how they've saved our lives and kept us here to live another day. And it's so important, having the knowledge that if anything happened, that there would be someone there to help us. And we've got to make sure that the world is a safe, the world, because it's no good one country having it and another not. Every country has to go, everyone's got to have a different system. The NHS is not great. It's fantastic that it's there, but it is a great big open wound that leaks constantly and is plugging. It needs to be completely revamped. Absolutely. And maybe there will be a need to have some kind of add-on insurance at some point in the future, because the older generation are living until the ages of 90 plus. and there isn't the demographic of young people to pay into the system. So when that demographic goes to that direction, any economist will tell you it's a big problem. There aren't enough people paying taxes to cover what's going out the door. So that is it is an issue that needs to be resolved. But in terms of how amazing having some sort of medical care is, I know there's a lot going on in the States today, and I know it's very scary, but one can only hope that it is done for the reason of there are always going to be slackers. There are always going to be people that abuse the system. And maybe this is their way of finding who those people are. But those that are in genuine need, or registered disabled, or those that have got registered illnesses, of course they can't not give you your medications. So please, if that's you, don't worry. I'm sure with all my heart that wouldn't be the case. It would be, horrendous to think that. So, but it's scary nonetheless. Words are scary, and we need to be very careful with the way we use words and what we say, because sometimes words can be misinterpreted, and words can be used against people. Words can be used to hurt people, and it's really important that especially the news and places like that, they need to be so careful with what is actually said, because it can be damaging. I mean, really scary. So for me, it's really, really important that I just start the room off saying, it's scary what's going on in the world right now. I'm sure a lot of people are happy with what's going on. There'll be equally as many in fear. And when you're in fear, you're watching every word and hanging on every word. And I would just say, try to not do that, because it's not good for you. It really isn't. It sends you in a whirl where you can't see what's right and what's wrong. So, if you get the opportunity to turn it off, put some music on, and just chill and not have that constant
I've
news
I've
coming
got
in.
YouTube videos that you can watch. So go to my YouTube channel. There's hundreds of videos. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that stuff. Right?
Exactly. And
Distract
he
yourself.
gets paid one day,
I
about
tell
the
you,
year 2050, he might
we'll get.
actually get a penny from YouTube.
We've got a Facebook friend here and a YouTube friend, so I'm glad you're here. So do carry on, please. Distract yourself. There's things
If
that you
you're
can
on
do.
YouTube, please watch any video, and it'll make him so happy. And if you leave a comment, even more so. Like,
Yes.
subscribe, do
If you
all those
subscribe, even
things. And
more. Yeah, yeah. So
I've
who's
I've
here?
done
So
it. I've done about 4 hours, and I'm like, I can't. I
yay,
just leave him dribbling in
yay,
the background and watch something else. I
yay.
do have you on my iPad in the corner
Bears,
on mute. There you are.
Bears, welcome. Glad
So
you're
that's
here.
it's still hours.
Yeah, no, look, every minute
It's
you spend on
hours,
my
isn't it?
YouTube, I'm happy, and every
Yeah,
minute you spend,
even on mute.
I'm grateful. Yeah, no, mute, turn the sound down, just let it play in the background, right? But keep an
I
eye out
did.
for when YouTube says, "Are you still there? Are you still alive?
Oh, yeah, you have
Are you still watching?"
to quickly say yes. Yeah. Are you still watching? Yeah.
Yeah, of course I
Did you
am.
really watch all the adverts?
Yeah. Ilana, welcome, Ilana Banana. We've missed you, but you're back. We'd like to see
Oh,
you.
Alana Banana.
If you want a link to the studio, let us know. I appreciate the link. May, welcome as well, May.
Oh,
I don't
May.
know if I've seen
Oh,
you on
how
this
lovely
before.
to
So
see you.
May, all the
Oh,
way in
God,
South Africa.
May.
Glad you're here. Thank you for being here. The food's making me hungry, May. Stop it. So the legend that is Linda Gray is here as well. Proper
Oh,
superstar.
Linda,
I'm
thank
glad
you for
you're here.
coming. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you
Oh,
so
so all
much.
my
Glad you're here.
invitations, see, they did pay off. I
They
did
always
in
do.
that
Of
my
course that
invite.
paid off.
I
Yeah, of course
know,
that
but
paid
I
off.
never know. So now
No,
that
no,
I've
don't-
put the news to rights,
yes.
is there anyone else you would like to speak to, or shall I carry on?
No, I should now turn my microphone off and put you on big screen so you can see your nose. You enjoy
Ah,
it?
that's all right. I got nasal hairs. I had nasal hairs last time. Go on then. Ah, here I go. So here I am in all my scariness. So today I really wanted to, talk to everybody about not allowing the pressure of life to get on top of us, really. So part of that pressure is, as I said, political. At the moment, it's a little bit scary for some people, especially if you read the news and you take some of it in and not all of it. And, you could be misunderstood what was said, or there's a bias from a particular um, a news program. So just be aware that that's a pressure that you are adding to your life. So if you can, try and only watch the news, like once a day. It sounds like a silly thing to say, but when you have something going on over and over in a loop, it can be very disheartening, and it can be also quite scary, because you can start to think you've heard things you haven't even heard, and you can even listen to what's being said, and it exacerbates, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger until you think it's an even bigger problem. But actually, it break it down, it's much, much more much smaller, and more you're more able to cope at the size that the actual problem is than imagining the worst. So, I mean, what we saw happen in the California fires was absolutely horrific. And I know if anyone was like me, we were watching it and just in disbelief, absolutely. And my heart goes out to anybody and everybody who knows anyone in that situation. Um, and that's a very, very difficult place to be, because if that was your only home and that's where all your personal belongings were, your photographs, your everything's, then and you've lost everything, that is horrific. There's a guy I know who's an artist. He's lost all his paintings. His partner's an author. They've lost all his books that he'd ordered, and their whole house is just gone. Thankfully, the two of them and their dog were away for the weekend. They're safe, but it's just such a horrible situation. And there are people asking for people to take in pets. And some of the pets are quite exotic, that they've found, and they're just asking for help. So if you're interested, there are so many numbers and people that you can call to say that you'll take a pet in, a horse, or I think the last time I looked, there were several horses, there were um, bunny rabbits and all kinds of animals that they just want to try and find homes for, temporary, until everything gets sorted out in whichever way it does. And I have no idea how that's going to be, whether they'll rebuild, I don't know what they're going to do, but we'll see. We'll see. And let's fingers crossed and pray with all our hearts that they are um, getting the help they need, because psychologically, this will be very damaging and scary. And even if they weren't around the house or in the house, just being told to get out, just being taken away, will have been an absolute nightmare. So we hope to goodness that everyone gets the therapy and the support they need, because they will definitely need it. So yeah, pressure. We're talking about anything that we can do to take away some of that pressure. So I was watching the news all the time. It did it help the situation? No. Did it make me more and more stressed? Yes. So Was I listening to what I say to everyone else to do? Absolutely not. I did completely the opposite. I got glued to this television and I was very poorly at the time, and the news was on, and I was just like watching on loop, and it was just so scary. So I'm telling you to do not what I did, because it's not sensible. And everybody has their own experiences as well. So, there could have been a fire when you were a child, and this is just going to bring all that back. Even though you were nothing to do with California, but there was a fire at home, and seeing all of this on the news can just reopen that wound. So, please, if people need help, seek help, talk to people, speak to me, speak to, one of the therapists that Michelle's in the room, or one of the many therapists online, or even through your medical insurance. But definitely seek help if you have a need, because what we're trying to do is preempt panic attacks, to preempt those kinds of recurring fears that occur, like I said, with fire. So that was one lot of things I wanted to get off my chest, because it was things that were bothering me, certainly whilst I was off for I was sick for about 23 days, we calculated. So, way me, January was not great, but hey. But the other thing we were talking about and wanting to talk about was, and the picture was of a mug, and it was saying you can't pour from an empty mug. And what we're really trying to say is that, you know, when you're constantly pouring into other people, there's nothing left for you. So who pours into your mug? Who looks after you? And the key here is, I don't want anyone that comes to this room to ever feel like they can't reach out to me or to one of the others and say, can we have a chat? All right. Because when you are someone who gives, and so many of us on this wonderful community that we've set up on LinkedIn are supporting lots of people, and you don't realize it's exhausting. It does take it out of you. And it's good to have people to talk to. And even if it's only a 5-minute, 10-minute chat, it's just important to know there are people there that you can have a conversation with and deal with that emotion. All right. And then the next thing I wanted to talk about was having a bit of a clear out, really. So there is the law of sacrifice, which says you get something new because you give something up. So, for example, if you wanted new curtains, you could argue that you'd give up the old curtains perhaps to charity, and then you'd get your new curtains. And it's a way of, circling through. So you're passing something on, but also you get your new curtains, the room looks bright, you're cheerful, everybody's won. Okay, great. But what about the rest of the house? How much stuff have you got that you don't really want or need, especially after Christmas? I mean, we've got a pile of biscuits and chocolates and cakes and big Christmas cakes and things, that mince pies. I think Charles said he ate the last mince pie on Sunday, and it was out of date on the 24th of December. But it was perfectly fine, and he ate it very happily. But grim, but he was happy. The point is, you have all this abundance of stuff. And so we said we're going to take the stuff that's still in date. The rest of it, Charles will eat, but the biscuits, the cakes, and whatever, we're going to take them down and give them to. There's a place in Huntingdon that has a food drop off, So it all goes to Peterborough and it all gets sorted out from there. You know, I just think we have abundance of stuff, and we're looking at our books. We've got so many books. So they're older books, so we can get rid of the books, right? We can pass books on. And the older children, not the younger children, because we haven't got any young ones around. We haven't got any of those books anymore. But older books, we can pass those on. So it's really now about us saying, right, okay, we've got get rid of the books. What else can we get rid of? Let's sort the study out. Let's go work our way all the way through. And this is our sort of, I wouldn't say New Year's resolution, because they always tend to get broken, but it's a plan of action that we will work our way through the house and get rid of the excess. And that truly is something we want to do. Now let's take it into our business, into our LinkedIn, for example. Can we have a clear out of our LinkedIn contacts? How many contacts do we have that actually we are in contact with, that we have had communication with, who know us, who would come to a room if we invited them? Just think about, there was a time, and Annie was, you know, it was about the number seemed to be really important. Get to 20,000, get to 30,000. I get that, because then you sound and act as if you are a voice of the people. I've got this number of people that are with us, and therefore we can move forward. But I just would like to say, I think, do we actually need as many people as we've got in our LinkedIn that we've collected, that we perhaps would have a sort out from? And that's something that, again, I'm planning on doing. And obviously it wouldn't be anybody that's here, because you're here, right? And you're showing interest in what I'm doing. But it's the people who I invite that never want to come to anything, or just don't just don't engage, really. And the problem with what's happened with LinkedIn going from audio to video means that it's kind of made it more of a us and them. It's us doing the talking. It's me inviting you in to my lounge and having a conversation with you. And then hopefully other people come up and we have a chat, and that will be lovely. But there has been quite a lot of rooms where it's just maybe one or two hosts and that's it. And the more confident you become, the happier you are to come up and speak, the more likely we are to show other people that it doesn't bite, it doesn't hurt. And we are still able to have exactly the same conversations as we used to have prior to the change. So that's kind of my story for today. I wanted to talk about the news, the pressure, you know, let some out. Don't take it all in at once. Try and have a once a day rule. Look after yourself. Don't always be the giver. There are times when you too need to be the receiver of all the just love, just care, just someone saying to you, "How are you?" as opposed to you always being the one asking other people. All right. And then, as I say, clearing out, having a good old clear out, taking stuff to the charity shop, and then, or even there's again in Peterborough there is a place that's accepting clothing and bedding and stuff like that. So we'll probably take a lot of stuff there, towels, you name it, they'll take it really. So it's just about what don't we need anymore? What have we got so much of? And it makes you feel really good when you've had a good old tidy up and clear out. So I think there's a benefit to it as well for you, but also the upside is that you're passing it along. And I think there's nothing nicer than to know that you've done that. So, Annie, are you there? Question is Annie? Yay, here he is.
Hiding
So,
away.
are you going to have a clear out, sir?
I have, as I said, I have cleared out my LinkedIn connections. So I did that yesterday. Literally, I went through. I've been saying I'll do it for a long time. And if I've deleted our connection, anyone, don't. It's not because I don't like you. I don't. As Paulette says, chances are those people who are removed are not here anyway. They don't support our events. They don't support what we do. I'm not helping them. They're not helping me. So what's the point having those connections? LinkedIn's going to take them away anyway, eventually, right? So if you're one of those people, if it's important to you, please send me a message. Let's reconnect, right? And if I'm not helping you, my friends, if we don't talk, we don't do anything together, feel free to remove me from your connections. I mean that sincerely, because I would rather a list of people who are engaged. That's what LinkedIn calls it for them, right? See, here's what happens that no one sees. Every week, I have events. I have 1,000 invites. So I go through and click on 1,000 people as quick as I can, and then I have to go and scroll through to remove those who I know aren't going to turn up. I don't want to do that anymore. So that's why I just took them out once and for all, because why waste my connections on those, and I can spend my invites on those who actually will turn up, do care what we do, actually do engage. So that was yesterday. So maybe the other thing I'll say quickly, Paulette, about clearing out things. I think let's clear out the burdens that don't help us. The burdens, the people who are a weight on our shoulders. That's what I'm doing as well. Now, whether you call it forgiving, that's one way to clear out those burdens, or remove the people. Remove those people from your life. Let's not carry the burdens from 2024 to 2025. If someone's not serving you, someone makes you feel bad or icky, get rid of them. Don't carry the luggage of people or things around with you. Let's make this year the year that we live in joy. That's a conversation I think we're having today, right, Paulette? Anyway, enough from me. Michelle, go on. Sorry.
Michelle's got sweeties. I can see. What you got, Mrs.?
Hi, good morning,
Yeah.
you guys. Or good afternoon.
Hi.
Fancy to get on here. I don't know why. I'm like, I'm here.
Patience, Michelle. Patience.
This is
We've got some messages. Let me just have a quick run through some messages. Hold on. What have we got? I've got echoes. Kiefer Allen, good evening. What's the subject tonight? Hello, Eddie and Paulette from Linda. And Michelle saying, I'm backstage, let me in. What's wrong with you idiots?
Yeah.
Was that you, was it? It didn't really say that. Hi, Carolyn. I'm only joking. She's not like that. She's not like that.
No.
So what do you think of the subject, Michelle? What are you thinking?
I can't see you now, but I don't know how this works.
It's a great he likes to do that.
I don't know how to do it. It just took me off and I can't see you. It's just big me. Oh, yay. Okay.
There you go.
It's a great subject, and I have a really hard time with the decluttering piece. It's kind of a scarcity thing, I think. All of us in the helping field, that's kind of a lot of ways we start out, because you can't bring anything new if you don't get rid of stuff that needs to go, right? There's no space internally, externally, all a perfect storm. So, things have to bug me for a while, but what I do, and I did a big one, like 4 drawers. I had to make some more drawers for my partner, so it kind of pushed me, but I've been meaning to. And sometimes what I do, which makes it not so scary, is that I put things in totes or bags that if I want to still keep for myself, or I'm not sure where it's going to go, and I kind of move them out in like a succession. I did that with my X's stuff, it took me time, right? And that's okay. You know, sometimes the things that we're connected to have nothing to do with all the clutter. It's just, it's familiar, it feels safe, but it's not. But sometimes we just need help. I mean, then I get really irritated and then I just start throwing everything out. And there's a lot of places that can use them, which makes me feel good about my stuff. But like, I have to do it in baby steps because that's just how I am. I like it all done and fixed, but I'm very attached to certain things. It's very interesting. It's not the things. It's just that they're parts of me, or I think I'm not going to get that, or I'm going to want that, or it's all this mindset thing. And when you give space, and I read something the other day about being uncomfortable, and that in order to get what you want, you have to be uncomfortable. You cannot be comfortable. So if you're creating anything or want new, it's okay to be in the uncomfortable, not to where it's like here, but when you're just a little uncomfortable. So that's all good.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think as well that feeling of, do I want it, don't I want it? That's great. Put it in a bag.
Right.
And we'll come back to it, right? Doesn't have to be an instant gone. Let's put it in a bag, put it in the garage, put it somewhere where you can't see it. And if you don't think about it for 6 months, you didn't need it, right?
Great. And you know what? It's 9 times out of 10 by doing that, you kind of make peace with it and you get rid of it. And we're all the definition of creating, creating the best you. There's a really great thing. Part of it's purpose, potential, and passion, and they're not the same. And the potential part is what we can do, right? Where we go. So if we push ourselves a little, our potential also goes higher. So this is a whole bigger thing than just decluttering, right? And that's what's so great. It brings in the magic.
And the magic happens when you walk in the room and you go, I've got a clear desk. Wow, how did that happen? There's nothing I like nicer than an empty space. And then I go, put all my stuff back on it, and I think, oh, why do I do that? But I would love for Charles, I say to him, so the fairies didn't come again then? It's like, no, there are no fairies. I'm afraid it's you that's got to tidy it up, I just wish there were these little fairies that would come in at night and just tidy it all up and sort it all out again, but they don't. It's down to me and only me, and I make the mess. I got to clear it up, right? But it is really important for the mind to be as clutter free as you can be. You cannot think straight when your head is full of stuff, positive or negative stuff. Too much positive, that's not good. Too much negative, that's not good. It's that equilibrium place of I've just got it, I'm just there, ready to just take in the day.
Right.
And I know meditation is absolutely the place to take you straight to that, sweet spot. They say that equally people who journal say that can take them to the sweet spot. But I do 3 things. 3 things I can change, 3 things I want to change, 3 things that I need to get rid of. So every day is 3 things. And these are 3 things,
right, Paulette? And
every
3
day.
things in the morning.
Yeah.
And you can't do it wrong.
Always.
Like meditation, it could be just listening to the sounds outside and bringing your mind back, or dancing, or I really have to say that because meditation, and I'm really big on meditation, it's helped me a lot, but you don't have to be sitting on the top of a mountain not moving, right? There are moving meditations as well. They bring in a lot.
I do a pole dance around my walking stick. You should see it. Sexy as AF, I tell you. And people go, what is she doing? I'm like, I've got the moves like Jagger, all around the walking stick. You can have that. You can have that image, Annie. Don't worry. It's fine. I'll give you that as a present. But the thing is, it makes me feel good. If that music's on, I'm happy.
Yeah. And moving shifts energy so profoundly. And with working with trauma and NLP in the body, it works on you without knowing it, because the body keeps a score. And so I dance every day, like somewhere, or to move things, or before I leave the house. It makes
round a pole or a stick.
No, I want a pole, but that's not easy. I'm
Go
telling
on
you.
your pole and steak. Let's do the pole and steak thing.
I'm talking about my walking stick, not a bimming. Goodness gracious, I don't even know where it is. I can't find it to show you. It's a very nice stick, but it's somewhere. I don't know where it is. There it is. Here you go. This is the pole. You see, it's not a rude stick. It's a walking stick.
When I went to my first pole exercise class, can I please tell everybody how shocked I was to learn that these stripper poles actually spin? And then it wasn't like people spinning because of their mad skills. I had no clue the poles spin.
I didn't know that. Oh, see? Smoke and mirrors. I wouldn't have known that if you had said it. I didn't know.
I wouldn't have known. I mean, I've never been to the strip club, but to go to the one of the exercise classes and learn it, I was mind blown.
It takes a lot of core strength. It's very difficult, but if it's spinning for you, you're just moving your body.
You're working the core. You're not having to work. Yep.
I haven't got a core. I've tried to find it. I think it's missing. My core is on the missing list. They told me to engage my core, and I was like, my core, engage my core. No, I swear to you, there is no core. It's gone.
I do belly dance. You have to like isolate the building. Core. Belly dancing, no core. But I'm trying. That's the whole thing. Doesn't matter.
Well, look, if I did belly dancing, I would be just like the laughing stock. But
Stop it.
If it makes me feel happy, I'll give it a go.
Okay, you carry on dancing.
I'm just gonna dance on my stick. I'll be happy.
Welcome our friends, and then I'll be happy and I'll keep quiet. So Caroline, we'll see you.
Say hi to everybody.
Yeah, so Francesco, we see you as well. Good evening to you, my friend.
Oh, good evening.
Joining us. Toulouse here as well.
Toulouse. Hi everybody. It's so lovely to have you all here. So tonight was really, I don't know if you've all got in at the right time, but it's really a room about trying to give ourselves the opportunity for a bit of light-hearted humor, because we need that. We want to talk about relieving the pressure, and that can be both internally and externally. And that means sometimes watching the news just maybe once a day. It's about looking after you, because if you're giving all the time, then, you can't pour from an empty cup, as it said. You can't. So it's really important to look after you. Be mindful of what you say to other people, and then equally be careful about how you receive things, because you might have misinterpreted something, or something can be said in a room and it's taken out of context. I've had that done to me. I've been accused of things and gone, what? Me? When? Oh, when did that happen? And as Annie will back me on that one, they tried to shut the room down on us. So, these things do happen. But the key is, if you're having a clear out, do it. Give your mind the space, give your physical body the space, and get rid of stuff that other people can make use of. And then finally, we were really talking about just what makes you happy. That's really what I want to get to. What makes you happy? How do you find happiness when there's so much chaos in the world? How do we find happiness? And for me, my happiness is you guys. Obviously, Charles is my main happiness, and Ben and Teddy. But after then, it's you guys and the people that I've engaged with about the books and things like that. It's really people that I've found, and I feel like I found you all. I know you weren't under a rock, but I did go looking and I found you. And the people that are in the room, we found each other, and it's lovely. It's just magic, right? And Ilana's here, but Ilana Banana, and she's in Florida and she's busy and there's stuff going off, and she's still here. People show up and it is lovely. to know that we can bring joy to them. Now, I know we're not like a song and dance routine. I'm just going to dance around my stick. But the point is, and I'm not doing that publicly, any, just for the record, ever. It doesn't matter how drunk I ever get. You're not seeing that video. But let's talk about what makes us happy. What makes you happy, Annie?
Ooh, food. No, and so no, doing what I like doing. I like doing this. I love doing these events. I love my happy life. I love the peace that I've created for myself. It's normally thanks to all of you, really. So I can think back to when I was an employee. Every day was a misery. Every day at work was terrible because I used to go very anxious for no good reason whatsoever. But now I'm like, no one can tell me what to do. I get to tell myself what to do. Every day is a joy. Every day is a proper joy. My family, they're lovely. But again, I think that's a plan, though. That's what we're talking about today. Really, I think it's a plan to get what makes you happy, what gives you joy, and get more of it.
Yeah.
And there was a day when I sat down,
Definitely.
I told myself I will be the nicest any you're ever going to meet, and I'm going to do that every day, especially to my family first. And that's what I do every day, and it comes back to me. That's the beauty of it. So talking to Michelle cheers me up as well sometimes.
Aw, sometimes.
Depends which one. We've got 2 Michelles.
No, talking to this Michelle on stage, so she ties me along when I'm working at night.
We've got another Michelle as well. 3 Michelles today.
I'll go after you.
Let me go through. Let me go through the names.
What makes you happy?
Who, me? Me.
Hold on. Let's do the comments. Otherwise, I get all stressed. Let's do so. Paulette, you sound awesome. I had to show you that.
So much better.
Thanks, Tolu. You're far too nice.
Having a voice, it's surprising, isn't it?
Where's Felipe? Felipe is here somewhere. Felipe.
Hi, Felipe. I saw your message.
Yes, Felipe is here. So I know Michael's here from earlier. Felipe is here. There's many more lovely people here. Jay, I saw you earlier as well, I think.
Hi, Jay.
So Francesco, have we mentioned you? I don't think we have.
Hi, Francesco.
Caroline is here as well.
Michelle and Carolyn.
Yeah. No. So these are the friends we have. So I'd rather have a few. I'm sure Michelle agrees. We'd rather have fewer of us people who actually like each other than a lot of people who don't like us. No, really, and that's what we tend to collect.
I've made a lot of notes already based on conversation regarding it. The first one that truly resonates with me is like, why would you consider someone's opinion within a situation that they don't even consider you? Like, what happens when you're not even being considered, but you're in rooms where you're taking other people's words and actions and you're like holding them almost like this holy grail, if that makes sense.
Belief in this thing, and it's nothing to do with anything.
I'm sorry?
We base our reality and our identity about people's stories of what they think. We think they're thinking. We don't know what they're thinking, but we base that about how good and how bad we are. Talk about, here we go, the snake that keeps biting its tail. It is so insidious and we didn't know. And so the happiness for me doesn't come. I love working with kids and teens and women, and I love my friends. But I can't really absorb that and take that in until I do that for myself. And I was forced into it, like a lot of us, to do that. Like, I didn't really sign up to say, okay, I'm going to work on me, self-love, let's go. And that's what happened as I went back to school. But I realized that the things that make me really light me up start before I talk to anyone in the morning.
Yes.
But I had to learn that. These are all learned skills. You don't wake up that way. We didn't learn how to do it. It's very possible. And very, very quickly things change, and then more happiness comes in. So it's like when you sleep, you get more sleep, you're more tired. It spurns the energy, the momentum, right? And there's a lot of things that make me happy now. Little tiny things. I see synchronicities. I always tap on my shoulder. People getting excited. Me just putting stuff and putzing around my house. Littlest things, but also saying thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. If you say that all day,
gratitude
happens. Gratitude.
Like for me, my upbringing with the trials and the tribulations and everything that I faced, like some people don't know, but at 8 years old, my memory was wiped because of a traumatic medical accident. And so then moving forward, every memory moving forward, there hasn't been positives. I had to literally, I was in a position in life where I attempted suicide 3 times and I survived, but I was pissed. Because it's like, if I can't even end my whole life, like obviously God has a plan. Something is bigger than me, and I need to start understanding what is it that I'm not seeing? What is it I'm not feeling? And one thing that I really had to like embrace was that I was always apologizing. I was always making excuses for offending other people, them not understanding my words, them not understanding my intention. And I really had to like come to the realization that what the fuck am I apologizing for? What am I apologizing for? This is who I am, and I can't help it if they misunderstand or they misinterpret. That is like, I used to always believe that communication was the foundation of any relationship. And I don't not believe this to be true, but I have learned that comprehension is more important than communication. I can say whatever I need to say as clearly as I need to say it, but I cannot make you understand my words. I can't make you resonate with my experiences that led me to these moments. But what I will not do is apologize anymore for who I am. Like one of the things that Ms. Paulette said earlier was like pouring from that empty cup. I have spent a lifetime as an empath that takes on other people's emotions and feelings. I don't even want to. It's not intentional. It's if I hear their story and I can resonate with it, I hurt with them. And then naturally and intuitively, I want to do whatever I can do to help fix it or relieve the pain. But then what I learned is that that's where your boundary setting becomes critical, is because takers don't have limits. And if you're a giver, you will be giving and giving and giving until you have nothing left to give. And then how are you supposed to turn around and give to yourself?
But that's that sovereignty for yourself, right? So you get discerning of who you give to, but how you give to, right? And somebody taught me a really cool trick. I'm going to give it to all of you. It's very simple. So, getting triggered by people who I think are better or whatever. And something is totally shifted from this one piece. And it's that one thing and then something else. And I'm like, oh, right?
Rabbit hole.
And I'm a ham. I'm a ham sandwich. Good. Okay, good. I don't care. But of where you look at those, whenever you're intimidated or triggered or faint, whatever, and not giving them that eye contact, because I give everyone eye contact, but just a little bit of a brief thing and look away, not meanly, something happens. And then what happens is I made a decision. I'm not going to go to this event and I'm not going to be triggered from my own stuff. And I wasn't, because it's the mindset with the meditation brings your mind back. And I also know who I am. I know my heart, right? I don't have to prove my heart to anyone just because I think you're going to make it seem okay that my heart's good because you think so. What's that? They don't even know. And that's where the change happens, right? And that's where, as empaths, I'll say, and there's some great tools out there. I'm going to put a book out here. It's called The Essential Toolkit for Empaths, and it's on Audible. And there's meditations on there and grounding.
It's brilliant.
It is brilliant. And it's a super power thing for us because, first of all, we don't even know how to take care of ourselves in the first place. We're really good out there, but we take it on. I mean, there was a girl on the street the other night, and I don't know anything about her story. I just felt, and I go, okay, lovely, and then I bring it back to me, right? And bring it back to me. It's not I can't help, but if I'm going to help in a capacity to be helpful, I have to have that for myself in a way that it doesn't matter what the outcome is. It doesn't matter. I say that you don't like that. Okay, well, someone, whatever. And I really don't care. now. Like something, it was those eye thing, I swear to God, Paulette. But something has shifted again. And that's what keeps happening. And then I keep following. And it's beautiful. And that makes me happy because that no one can take away. We've all had trauma. A lot of us have had a lot of trauma. That's why we're here, right? I think we have big purpose because we're still alive and to talk about it and just help someone else. And I am clear about that. And I also don't have to shun and keep my mouth shut either. I can do things in a polite way. You know, I always go to one extreme or the other. Come out. I have to.
There's no middle ground.
It's very difficult, but it's my truth, or I don't have to say anything. But I don't have to go, oh my God, and this and that. It's not even in my house. Forget it. I'm not doing it anymore. I've wasted way too much time. And
so it's like, for me, I don't care what somebody thinks about me. I started the self journey almost 2 decades ago, like hardcore invested 13 years ago. And the one thing I think that causes a lot of people to, I don't want to say fail, because like I think failures are just lessons. But I think the lesson that a lot of people overlook is that when they begin that self journey, they believe that they're on their way to a destination. You're never going to arrive at a destination. It is a continuous journey of self-evolution and learning and transformation. And if you go into it believing you're going to get to this aha moment, you become quickly defeated and discouraged because that never comes. I know that when I wake up, I do my best. I give my best. I'm unapologetic. I'm unfiltered. I know the security within myself brings out insecurities in others. I have had to learn to separate myself from that. I will not be blamed for somebody else's insecurities where I am secure within myself. Because at the end of the day, we're living our own lives on separate paths and courses. And the person looking back at me in the mirror and that child that I'm tucking in bed at night are the two that matter.
Yes.
You know, the journey.
And I would say just what you just said, just one sec about the journey. For me, there have been along the way, I mean, I'm a lot older, obviously, because I'm nearly, ancient. But along the way, there have been aha moments. And I've gone, okay, but it's only an aha moment to tell me I'm at a junction and I've got a choice, right? And when I get to that junction, I have to make another choice. So you do find aha moments in life. But what I found is when I was younger, it was, I've got to be here for Ben, right? I love my husband to pieces, but I've got to be here for Ben. That's my goal. Whatever happens, no one is going to love him like I do. No one is going to get him to where he needs to be like I will. And that's very selfish of me to think that. But I did think that. And whether he kept me here or I kept me here, I don't know what the answer is, or whether God kept me here. But whatever way it works, I'm here, right? And then he gets to an age where he doesn't phone every day anymore because he's a student and he's doing what he should be doing, being a grown-up. But I'm like, have you heard from Ben? No. Should give him a ring. It's got to that point now where I'm like, just give me something to hang on to. He said he might come home at the weekend, and I went, oh yeah, oh okay, and I'm like,
my therapist,
but
I don't
feel like that, right?
My therapist and my life coach spent so many months working with me to understand there's like that saying that you and your kid are on the plane, it's crashing, the oxygen mask fall. What are you doing? Weeks and weeks, like going back and forth. I'm like, I'm getting that mask on my kid. I'm getting that mask on my kid. And they're like, no, you're not. You're going to die before it happens. You're going to die before it happens. And it took me months of self-work and internalizing to understand if I don't put that mask on myself first, how am I going to survive the plummet to earth to get my kid protected? And then like it was like, for me, becoming the parent was that natural instinct of the give, the nurture, the help survive. And it took the therapist saying, like, you think it's second nature. Look how many parents, it doesn't matter mother or father, look how many parents bring children in the world, and due to mental health, drug addiction, family, whatever, they abandon them. You day in and day out make that choice to show up and do better and be better for this child. And in my mind, I kept arguing that's just what it's supposed to be. And I had to really internalize it is a mental, conscious decision. It is an unwavering love that you do this.
Yes. You can have absolute, complete and utter love for somebody, but there is also a very intentional decision and purpose to be here, to be there for them. And that was something that I was told by a therapist too, that the same thing, that you are, you know, everybody wants to do the best by their children. We hope. That's what we hope. It's not the case, but that's what we hope. But those that are, and those that have, you know, pat yourselves on the back, because parenting isn't easy. Parenting of any child isn't easy. Parenting of an autistic child especially isn't easy. Parenting of a child who was, trigger warning, was suicidal is not easy. But to get to the point where all of those things that, like we talk about, with the amount of children that are on drugs, the amount of children that are on alcoholics, the amount of children, yeah, I'm talking like, you know, 12, 13. Charles would tell me that kids would have nothing to eat, but they'd come into school drinking the Monster, you know, the high energy drinks. And then there'd be, if they were, now they'd be vaping, but they were smoking, I think, then, and vaping, and only just started coming in. But, you know, it's, this whole world is so different to the world that we grew up in. You know, I know there were kids that had a sneaky fag behind the bike sheds, right? But it was one fag shared between everybody. Everyone had a drag of the one fag or the two fags or whatever was nicked or was available. And, you know, I know that occasionally somebody would nick a bottle of wine and we'd all have a swig of the bottle of wine. But I can remember that it was so hard to come by. It wasn't as easy. Everything seems to be far more available now than it's ever been before. And that means that when you put, this is my opinion, when you put the option, the option being a word, but when you give somebody a choice, would you like some alcohol? Would you like some drugs? Would you like some cigarettes? Would you like this? Would you like that? There are always going to be those that say yes. And there are always going to be those that say no. But those that say yes possibly start a journey that could take them years to say no. And that does not make anybody happy. Michelle, any thoughts?
So I think about my children and what I've had to learn.
I was thinking about schools, you know, that you're in and that you're working with the kids.
Yeah,
you see it.
And I know the very simple things to help them is the believing in them and helping them see who they really are, just like we did. So the self-love just for us. And that is my big thing with the kids and the Future You program. It's not really future. It's kind of who they are. But very quickly they go, oh, I never have to do that. Oh, I'm nice. Like, I know I'm nice, but you see that and I trust you. So, and the detaching with love is huge, and the letting go is huge. And it's really hard for some of us, especially in the empath bent with our kids. And they were like my life, my identity, my everything. And I started to find me. And then, of course, they don't necessarily do the things that I think they should. And I think they have their own paths. And I've had to go through, I'm just going to say today, I'm in a pretty good space of letting go of things that I don't think, it's very scary what I see with my kids, you know, and but that's just their path, right? And I'm not God, they have one. And I just have to be the best version of me and take care of me, and the rest will happen, and to let go. But I took care of them more than me, and it didn't serve them at all growing up. And I don't beat myself up for that. I can be sad, but I don't beat myself up. I just know, hindsight's 2020, and we don't get tools or whatever. But the clear thing for everyone is back to that place, is that we are enough. And none of us learn that. We're trying to get more money, go to college, do this, be that, be the nice girl, don't, be seen, not heard, da 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 da. All the things. And it's not to blame anything. It's been like that mental construct and that collective thing for a long, long time. It's just time it changes. We are in that place where it has to change, but it only changes as fast as the slowest part changes, right? And so I think that we just keep being the best versions of ourselves. And that doesn't mean you're there yet. It is a journey. Like, I wanted to get back to the journey, Aerosmith's journey, not a destination. And it is a journey, but the journey gets good because you just keep go, oh, and I need an answer, and then I get an answer, and then I do this. And it's like, sure, there's bad days or whatever, but they get a lot smaller and a lot easier to shift back to that place of gratitude, right? And intention. So with the kid thing, it's so hard. It's so hard. It's where I can be codependent and Al-Anon and all that with everybody else, right? And take care of my recovery and do that. But with my kids, it's really hard. But you can do it because I'm doing it. It's been a challenge. And today I'm doing pretty good. But, it still comes up where I go, ugh. And there's nothing I can do but watch that train go. And I'm talking some serious things with my kids. It's not, I don't know. They're like me. So I made it out okay. I'm alive.
That part.
Absolutely.
My apple didn't
Absolutely.
fall far from my tree. And one thing that I have learned is that we're a product of our environments. We're a product of the homes that we're raised in, the influences that we're subjected to, we're the lack of resources at that. And one thing that I have learned is that buck stops with me. How I was raised, what I was exposed to, what was my normal realities, I never believed to be unhealthy, not normal, toxic, dysfunctional, because where I was raised and in the communities that I was raised in, even the neighbors, all of our homes were this chaotic. But what I've learned through self-education and growth and acceptance is that, not to be political, but this is most marginalized poverty communities, regardless your ethnicity, regardless your gender, when you are in a certain class, you're not provided resources and you're not provided things to help you become what you're fully capable of. And it's up to you to seek out the mentors and the resources and the knowledge to make yourself better.
Right. So, but I agree that's across all boards. I do believe it's clear in that sect, but I was middle class, and I had.
Well, I'm learning now. Yeah.
It doesn't. So whether it's mental illness, whether it's codependency, whether it's drug addiction, whether it's love addiction, it crosses all lines, right? It doesn't. It's an equal opportunity employer for sure. And I think it's important to know that it's really hard in those sects, but it's also even hard in the sects that are not, because it's not talked about. Everyone looks
and that's what I've learned. Coming to LinkedIn.
Sense, but it's all the same, and we're all the same.
I thought everybody had like general knowledge and awareness, and it wasn't until coming to LinkedIn and engaging in these intellectual conversations that I started learning that across the board and, lack of awareness. And it was like, for me, so mind-boggling that this is such an issue throughout the world. It's global. And it's not specific, yes. But it's not discussed. But then people like myself that are like, no, let's engage these conversations, get frowned upon or dismissed or placed into these, insubordinate or against the grain. Like, we get labeled because we want to see outside the box. We want to live outside the status quo. We question, why is this okay? But for me, it's more so, this wasn't okay. And I refuse for my daughter to think this is okay. Like, people think family estrangement. People think that me living without that support system, I don't know extended family. I know my biological family. There are no communication ties, period, to not one. And there's no possibility of reconciliation. And then people think that you almost wake up and you make that decision instantaneously. For me, that standout point was my daughter is witnessing verbal, mental, and emotional abuse that I am only facilitating and allowing to happen because this is family. And I don't ever want her to believe, family or not, a human does not treat another human this way. And that's, I think,
know that, and that's how you grow up. It takes a while to know that it's. I had no idea that the stuff that was going on in my home so covertly, so quietly, was actually abuse. I was being abused, but so were my kids. But I didn't know that. This is the big. There's women out there that have no idea that what they're doing isn't good because they're used to that. I swear to God, I don't know where my brain was, but it was what I was used to. I thought, oh well, he's just loves you, and he's just and you know, and it's like. No, now I look back and go, what?
Yes. And
what? Right.
And I give grace for people in this situation because obviously I was there. And one thing that I am very adamant, you don't know better until you know better. So if I see it happening.
Remember that, Michelle, that is one of the key pieces of information you just said to yourself and say it to yourself on a regular basis. Because you don't know better until you can see
when I know they know
understand.
Better. When I know they know better, when I know they've been given the education or the awareness, and then they continue to do that toxic, I have to build that boundary.
Boundaries, yeah. I did that with my foster family with Ben when he was 6. He'd never heard raised voices. And Nanny Sandra was crying, and he didn't know why. And Grandad Dudley was screaming and shouting at her, and he has face as red as beetroot. And I just went, you will never see my child again. That's it, we're done. And that was it. That was the last day. Because I didn't want Ben to have to go through what I went through. I didn't want him to hear those. If I hear someone shout now, I shake. If I hear somebody with raised voices, I assume it's about me. I will assume that I've done something wrong. Even now, as a 60-year-old woman, that is still in my head, the screaming and the shouting. And that was, you know, in a safe foster home. That was after all the chaos. This was chaos plus. But, you know, I just said no. And we never saw them again. And that was it. With Nanny Sandra we still see, but we don't see Dudley. I won't have it because I don't want that. And now we've got somebody in the room with us. Let's see who it is. Ollie's here. Ollie, being alive. Yes, polite. Always, Ollie. You're lovely. Right.
Who is it? Real quick too, Miss Paulette. With
sorry,
Michelle
yes, darling.
And the journey. Like, I think a lot of people, I used to feel guilt with the self-care. And it took a lot of mental reprogramming and mindset shifts to learn that not doing self-care is self-sabotage.
Absolutely.
It is self-sabotage. So is being perfect is self-sabotage. Trying to be perfect is self-sabotage. There is no perfect, right? Like, from what? But the self-care.
I do try.
Right? But when we're not feeling enough, right? It's very hard because we'll beat ourselves. Oh, we didn't do that. But that's that place again where you're once again, the self-care comes from, like, you know, wanting to do good for you because you want to take care of you. Oh, I can tell you what to do. Oh, I'm really good at that. Black belt. But when you turn it back on yourself, like you talk to a friend, it's keys to the kingdom.
Absolutely. And if you spoke to yourself like you spoke to your best friend, what a difference that would be. But we don't speak to ourselves like that. We are our own worst critic. And that is really a big lesson for anybody who's listening. The big lesson is never, ever think that it's okay to put yourself down, to speak down to yourself, to tell yourself you're not good enough, because you're not
let
just
people
good
do
enough,
that
you're
to
more.
or
or,
let
or,
people
or
do
let
it
other
to you.
people. No,
Yourself.
nobody has the right to do that. Nobody. And when they do, they need to be called out on it. And the way you call them out is so tidy. It's tidy. You do it in private and you do it one-on-one, and you let that person know that that is not how we do it.
But not to
And
get
that person learns.
you, right? That's not for the
Say
outcome of
again?
what you do. It's not for the outcome of them saying sorry. That's about owning up for you. That's
No,
fighting.
it's for you. It's for you to know that you didn't just take it. I didn't
Right.
just take that abuse and absorb it.
Right. But sometimes
You
you
got
just
rid
have
of
to
it.
stop and be quiet, which is actually the hardest thing for us because we want
Silence is
to
harder
do
than anything, Michelle.
Mm-hmm.
But silence is sometimes the best answer. When there is a problem and people are expecting you to go, and you don't, silence is actually more effective, because what they're doing is they're going, well, why haven't they reacted? Why haven't they done this? Why haven't they done? And you just go, and they turn them around. What do you say? The snake that bites its own. What's that saying you've got?
Here in the chat, there's a name for it. I think it's Latin. I don't know. The snake that bites its tail and keeps going around. And every time I'm on doing any kind of teaching or any of this, the snake comes up. And we're the year of the snake. Just a little bit of woo woo for you. So there you go.
Yeah, woo woo, woo woo.
It's, doing that. There is a Latin.
But it is. That's exactly right. There is
Right.
that's so true. So I think we ought to ask, who is Keith? Where's Annie? Can we get Keith up? Because he's been hanging around.
Kiefer, the
Hello.
mic is
Quite
friend. How
see.
you
Good
doing, Kiefer?
evening.
Hello.
Good
There we
evening.
go,
Good
Kiefer.
evening. Good evening,
Good
everyone.
evening.
I've been in the background listening patiently and enjoying the discussion. I'm actually so tied up in other business, union business, because I got some issues to deal with. So I'm listening, and it's very, very interesting conversation. The declutter, I thought about that. I in the summer month, just before the winter, I decided I was going to clear out the attic, most of it, because I had stuff up there, furnitures and lots of stuff that wasn't really was useful, but wasn't using it. So some of the wood that I had up there, I end up used because I realized wood is very expensive. And you know what I found? When you throw something out, soon after you find out, oops, oh, I needed
I
that.
need that.
And then you have to go and rebuy. Yeah. But yeah, the whole idea behind the clutter is good. I thought as I get older, one of my excuses was I ain't gonna be able to go up the attic when I'm certain age, so I better clear it out now while I can.
Well, you can.
Well, while
That's
I
an
can.
excuse.
Yeah, the discussion is quite good, deep as well.
Yeah.
But as I say, I'm working in the background, and it's good to be at
All
the
right. Well,
event.
thank you. Thank you for
Have a
coming.
good evening,
We
everyone.
appreciate
Yeah, I'm
it.
listening. I'm listening. Yeah. When you touch
Well,
my subject, I'll be on there quick as pea to say something.
okay. We'll just
All
call you
right.
in.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Keitha.
Okay.
So
Bye
where's
bye.
my Annie gone? I've lost my Annie. Where's my Annie gone? Annie's in charge of the buttons. I give up. Okay, where is
I think
Annie?
something else also important based on like listening to Michelle and yourself is that you can't please everybody. You're never gonna be able to make every single person in that orbit happy. And like for myself, I really getting the mindset of what makes Michelle happy. What will make me be the best I can be for my child. Like people don't I don't ever I think that it's important when how you said talk to somebody and all of it. One thing that I've had to learn is that my specific life my specific trials and tribulations are a lot to process and take in. I used to just get so overwhelmed and excited that somebody just wanted to talk and hear that I would word vomit emotionally. And I would just dump the moment they engaged without seeking, is this person in a place they can take what I need to release? And I've learned the importance. I know when I'm getting that capacity of overwhelmed and overfilled, I know I need to verbally, consciously ask whoever I'm talking to, can you be my soundboard? Can I emotionally release? Because then I got to live with the guilt or the shame or the uncomfort of knowing what I just put on their plate and they was not prepared for.
Do you know what I do? I write. When I'm in that position and I don't know who to speak to or who to trust, everywhere you look, there's books, and books full, and it's because I don't, like you said, because of the toxicity of my situation. Nobody knows the full story, because I don't want everyone to know, because I don't think anyone's ready for that. But what the bit that I do release, I sometimes think, no, I don't want people to know that. So I write. And when you write things down, even though I haven't got an answer, even though I haven't found the solution to whatever it was I was engaged in such a problem for me, by writing it down, it just feels a bit lighter. And then I say to myself, I won't read it for a week, right? I won't read it for a week. And I give myself a whole week. And then when I go back, one, I'm stronger because a week's passed and I would have been able to have moved slightly forward a day at a time, right? Two, I might feel differently about whatever happened. And three, I will be in a position to look at the problem and try and find a solution. But in the moment, when all the heat's there, I can't find a solution. And I don't know that any therapist or counselor would offer you a solution. They would offer you some ideas. They would offer you some tips and tricks on how to try and handle that position. But most people would use the diarize all those emotions, get it all out, and journaling, although it doesn't sound like a very a profound way of talking about how to help mental health, but journaling and journaling books, I mean, goodness me, there are a million journal books now for mental health. So it proves that's one of the major things that we get told to do. And I do it myself, and I'll give myself a week. And if I can't resolve it in a week, I'll take it to a friend, probably Michelle, but somebody that I can talk to and say, this really, I can't, I don't know what to do, right?
You need Michelle Whitesides in your life.
I mean, Michelle Whiteside.
The vulnerability and the
I tell you, now you know all of us. You've got two more people now in your circle who you can write and ask, because it is about trying to, if you can reason with yourself, you are winning the battle, right? It's when you're looking at a problem and you can't reason with yourself, is when you're so deep in the problem, you can't see a solution, right? That's when you say about being in the box, looking outside, or whichever way you look at it, right? But when you can reason with yourself, where you can say, well, actually, if we take that off the table and that off the table, we could probably handle that bit right now, right? and you handle that bit, and then you move on, and then you handle the next bit. I'm a great breaker downer, you know, let's take it into small pieces. And I know they always say about how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time, but it's actually true. And I don't necessarily want to eat an elephant, but the idea is, the principle is, you know, in small chunks, one day at a time, step by step. Everything has to be step by step. You
I believe
cannot
that
do these.
raising neurodivergent children helps us
I know.
better understand that
Yes.
concept overall. Because like with Angelina,
Yes.
I want to give her the whole elephant sometimes. Like, this is what we need to handle, but then I have to like literally remind myself of her neurodivergence is her superpower, and there are ways that I've learned that she is able to process and function. And I got to remind myself, like, okay, that I can do this in 5 seconds. I need to give her 2. Like, I have to make that mental self-awareness that everybody's different. Nobody's going to do it the same. It's going to have different outcomes and looks for other people. And then at the end of the day, I need to trust myself. What have I learned about myself to know that I'm being the best?
So when you're patient with yourself, you have an easier time being patient. Both my kids are neurodivergent, and so am I. So, but I want to just put something in the space about love around all of this, because we all bring the love, right? We're empaths, we care, we do all this. And you can actually bring the love even in a situation that tends to be abrasive or not good. You can still bring the love. The love sometimes is walking away and knowing that everybody is a different map, but the love for yourself, right? And then bringing the love, it doesn't mean you're fixing them to change them grumpy or whatever it is. It's just you're still bringing that place, right? That thing. And I think that's what majorly shifts, gives us the patience, and also gives us that space to let something bigger come in, because we're really not in charge. That's just my view, because we're not. We think we are. We can do the walking, but the rest is, and I want that as my employer way better.
I think that like what you said also, let's just piggyback on Leslie Flower's comment here in the comments. It says, but we can be kind to others, right? Being intentionally disrespectful is never is okay. And I think that it's important to remember that whether you are feeling kindness, whether you're feeling disrespect, whatever it is that you're feeling, that's self-perception. What if somebody believes that they are being kind, but you're seeing it as being not kind? What if somebody feels they did give their best, but it was not perceived in the right manner? I think that ultimately it's going to result down to yourself, and you need to look into a mirror and say, why does this bother me? Why do I feel attacked? Why do I feel like I'm being judged? And then ultimately at the end of the day, for me, for my I statement, I don't care. I showed up authentically. I told my truth. I did my best. And I'm going to go to sleep knowing that there was nothing I could have done better today in this moment.
Right. So I'm going to have to go, but I want to leave with this. So imagine for a minute, everyone, right? Like, if you think about it, everybody's walking who's not conscious, right? Like, just people are walking around basing their reality, their story, their happiness based on outside of them. They don't really know what the other is thinking. It's like zombies, right? Think about it. You're basing all of this, and it has nothing to do with anything, but that's why I'm happy and that's why I'm not. And until you uncover and you dig and you declutter, you're not going to be aware and see. And then you're really being at the disposal. And so nothing's real. Nobody's out there. I mean, it's actually kind of mind boggling. And I think I'm on acid. I'm not. But it's what a trip, unless you're aware and open and look inside, right? It's that awareness. It's just the piece of willingness. Just you need to be willing to be willing. It's that piece. But it's just kind of amazes to me how many people are basing everything on something that's not even true and on other, and they don't even know. It's mind-boggling. So, but I have to go now, but I want to say that I am here. I left my phone number, yes, in the thing if anyone needs me. And remember, you are your best resource, and we don't do this alone. And go big or go home. And it's so great to see all my friends here, because I haven't seen you for a while. So thank you. Love you, Paulette.
Love you too. Thank you. Lovely, lovely, lovely lady. Do you know how to get off? I think you have to just leave the studio. She's done. She's gone. So the thing about that conversation, I think that I hope many people will take away is that, you know, we all think that we know what's going on in each other's minds. We all think we know what's going on in each other's lives. We all think we know what's going on behind closed doors. We have no clue. We have no clue. I repeated that twice because it is so important, because I can tell you the amount of people that I have met through just living in a village for 18 years, and from domestic violence to having children taken away from them, to you name it, in a small little, not a village, it's a hamlet really. You have no idea that's going on. And that's in one small little area of 300 houses. So what's happening on a worldwide stage? How do we expect to fit in to every single little slot? We can't. And it's like, you can't. And we are like round pegs and square holes. And no way should somebody take a hammer to you to try and push you into that hole. You know, we are made the way we are for a reason. We are all here for a reason. And that purpose, be it whoever's designed my purpose, your purpose, everybody's purpose, you know, the universe, God, call it what you will. It's so important to understand that you can only be in charge of your little square on the checkerboard, right? And as long as you are being kind and helpful and a decent human being, and the person in the square next to you is doing the same, and likewise the square fills up, if there's one or two rotten apples, they'll soon get found out and they will soon get removed, because the checkerboard's playing beautifully together without one or two. And what happens as and when somebody does something or says something, you have to give them a moment and think, were they really aware of what they just said? Or was that did they misspeak? Did they misunderstand what I said? Have they taken what I said incorrectly? Have they gossiped about the words that I used and have changed it, twisted it to make it more attractive? You know, but what is the story here?
I don't even
Why are
believe
they
in the
reacting?
I don't even believe in the moment. I believe when somebody speaks and they're true, they're set, they're stern, this is their words, their feelings, you don't need to give them a moment, because if you give them the moment to try to dissect it, I personally believe that that is you casting judgment, and then you're invalidating their feelings. I am one that believes I can't invalidate nobody, because I wouldn't want to be invalidated. You are right.
No. But you're not just validating, Michelle. What you're doing is saying to yourself, if somebody, for example, let's say I said, I don't understand vegans. I don't understand vegans, right? I just say that. That doesn't mean I hate all vegans. That doesn't mean that I am against veganism. It doesn't mean that I have a problem eating a steak. It doesn't mean I have a problem. It's just words, But those words get taken and they go off, and they don't stay as Paulette said she hates vegans. No, I didn't.
And manifest so much more.
We hate all these, every vegan in the country, in the world, Paulette hates. She's starting a campaign against vegans. It's like, what? Where did that come from? You know? And all you said was, I don't understand veganism or something, some words like that. And they just go. And that's where we have to be super mindful, where when we do say things, especially in a public arena, whether it's on a screen whether it's in the messages or direct messages or any other bloody messages, if you are communicating with people, give them the opportunity to make sure that those words are clear, precise, understood, without any possibility of misinterpretation. Because people get upset very easily when things are misinterpreted. And I've had that happen to me. And when it happened, I was the most gobsmacked person on the planet. Annie and I are on stage together, and I got accused of being a racist. And it was like the weirdest situation you could imagine. And there were many people of color in the audience, and it was an audio room, and it was just absolutely bonkers. And, you know, when it happened, I thought, this is unbelievable. I mean, this is about a year ago now. And they wanted to take the mental wellness room away from us because they said that it was, you know, potentially upsetting and dangerous to other people. And I was like, okay, now I can either roll over, which is what some people, even, you know, people like Annie and a few others said, don't let it upset you, just open a new room, don't worry. And I was like, no, my word, my name, I want my name clearing. And I remember Annie saying, but it doesn't matter. Nobody believes it. No, I want my room back. I want my time back. I want my slot back. I don't want anyone telling. And it was personal. And then we had 54 tickets. 54 people wrote to LinkedIn and said, this isn't right. This isn't true. And then LinkedIn spoke to me eventually and said, I understand. I apologize. We apologize for taking your room down. Okay. Now, I could have not bothered, but it was personal for me. It was personal. I took that very personally because the one thing I'm not is that I can be an idiot and I can be a goofball and I can say the wrong thing and I can misinterpret things and I could do stuff like that, but I would never say a racist thing. I know that. So when we did fight it out with LinkedIn, they understood my principle and they kept calling it Paulette's point of principle. And it was like, okay, that's about the 15th time you've used that in like one email. Paulette's point of principle. But I made my point of principle and I wanted the room back at the same time every week. And I wanted it brought back as an apology. Didn't quite get the apology, but we got the room back. So I guess. But the
and it was
point,
like your integrity.
yeah, it was absolutely my integrity. And the thing that I want and would love is for everybody to be less fearful of coming on the stage because yes, it's different to audio rooms. I have done this before and shown people that you can be, hang on, I have to be careful I don't shut the room down because I get into trouble then. Hang on, can I do it on here? You're in the show, stop cam, there we are. You can be off camera or on camera. So the fear of being on camera and you don't have your makeup done or you're not looking at your best or you're coming straight from work or whatever, it doesn't matter. The camera business is immaterial. If you have something to say, come and talk to us because the way this is going to become what it was when it was an audio room, which is a place for safety, a place where people can speak up, a place for people that can say, you know, I really do need to get my head cleared. I'm really glad I went to that room. It's made me think about a few things, and I am going to do this and I am going to do that. But most of all, I'm going to look after me. Most of all, I'm going to find some me time. Most of all, I'm going to get a book and I'm going to write all this anger and frustration down in my book so that I don't give it to somebody else because you don't know, like Michelle said, whether they're ready for it or even if they want it. Because sometimes it's just like, Mother, and then you go, oh, sorry, you know, and it's okay for me because I'm trained. But somebody who isn't, some of the stuff I've heard would make your toes curl. So it's really, really important that people who are receiving the information you're giving are understanding of it, but also are willing to listen. But find people, 2, 3 friends. You don't need a handful max. You don't need 100 friends. You just need 2 or 3 people that are close enough to you that if you have got something on your mind, you can speak to, and they will just listen without judgment, without opinion. And then they might say to you, you might need to talk to somebody. And then you might want to reach out to somebody like me or Michelle. But the point is, do it. Don't sit with stuff in your head. But before you make the phone call, before you reach out, before you DM someone, write down what it is that is really eating away, and then work out whether or not you need to speak to somebody professionally, or whether you need to go and talk to the person who's got you so wound up directly and talk to them about why they made you feel the way they made you feel.
Unless they block
Because
you.
sometimes that's all it is, right?
Hold on.
That is all it is sometimes.
Hold on. Kiefer, you've been way too quiet.
No, Kiefer's busy. He's working.
Yeah. Hi, Annie. Hi, Annie.
He's
I'm
just
here.
listening.
Okay.
I'm here, but I'm just listening. As I say, I've got this very important because I'm union rep, you see, and it's wage increase time, so I'm working on negotiations, and also it's late, so I want to be here, but as I say, I can't really give you too much of attention. Just listening,
That's
but it's
all
very
right.
interesting.
That's
Yeah,
I like to give everyone, you know, some people would
yeah,
speak naturally.
yeah.
Like Michelle has no problem speaking naturally, for example. Whereas
Mm.
I like taking turns. And I
Okay,
like
next time. As I say, I'm extremely busy right now.
superb. You
Look,
do you, my friends.
I'm
You
on
do
the
you.
computer. I'm on the
That's all right.
computer doing my thing. All right. Have a good evening.
You
One
too.
thing Annie and I have been talking about a lot also, and it correlates with what you just said, Ms. Paulette, is that to seek out your friend. Like to go have those conversations with the trusted people in the safe spaces for your vulnerability. And the one thing that me and Annie, because he's always on me about, because I don't do connection, I don't do those things. But I had to tell him, like, I often hear you refer to everybody as your friend. But the reality is they're not your friend. And I feel that when you tie that word to an individual, subconsciously and mentally, you are already giving them expectations of what you are you believe is going to come from that. And for me, it's very important to understand and accept, like, not everybody's my friend. I don't want everybody to be my friend. I don't want to be able to be vulnerable and engage with everybody on the same levels, because, like, I know when people engage with me, my social medias across all boards, not just LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the newest platform. It is very curated. It has been curated for well over 13 years. Most of the content seen are scheduled posts. And to truly know me, like, I know with our conversations, is it surface level or is this genuinely intentional? Because if you're only talking the surface level stuff, I know you stalk social media. And I know you're not my friend.
It's a weird one. So I was in a room. I was in a room earlier, and I think who was it? Aaron Gibson, where he says he gives trust to people
Willingly to everybody.
from day one. Yeah, to everyone. Same as me and Paulette's friendship to people. I give everyone friendship, everyone. Until you prove a reason why I shouldn't be your friend, I will give you the grace. That's just me, right? You know,
I give respect.
I don't give my heart any. I don't give my heart
not your heart,
freely.
you know, but
What I do is I give
you
my friendship, and then
Yes.
I watch.
Yes.
I'm sharp with it.
Yes.
It's
No,
like, here's my friendship, but I'm going to watch.
Yeah, and I said,
trust is earned. Trust
Right.
is earned. I wholeheartedly believe you have to earn trust, and I believe that I will give respect without hesitation until I'm disrespected. The moment I feel disrespected, I will no longer give you respect.
Yes, and it's the time for our friendship. Let's go for the comments. Otherwise, we'll never leave here today.
There's some very interesting
Please
ones.
do, Eddie.
Yeah.
Go on then. You go
I'll
for
let
it.
you
On
read
mute.
them and respond. Don't unmute. Don't unmute. I'll let you read them and respond. Okay, there you go.
Marmite, yeah, absolutely. Love me or hate me. Yeah, that's a very interesting point. 100%. Michelle, agree. If I allowed other people's esteem, egos to factor into my plan, I would not be here sharing breath with everyone. Well, there you are. That's the story. You need to be in Annie's book, Natalie. There you are. There's one, Annie.
Yes.
We'll grab Natalie.
Agree.
I have spent years hearing all
There's
kinds
you,
of
there's
people
Michelle,
fit.
and there's Natalie, and
My
there's
life
Michael.
has pros and most of the negative.
Yeah, that's the start.
Absolutely, Natalie. I'm 200% in agreement.
Yeah, for sure. Who started decluttering? So is that Michelle B? I think so.
I think so. Yeah, Michelle B.
You've
She's going to
changed
start decluttering.
Yeah, so you've changed
Absolutely.
your icon as well. I don't know.
I've got rid of 12 bags of clothes.
And it must have gone to Carrie. No, Carrie, I'm always here. I just
He hides
I sit down after time. Jasmine, so Nat says Jasmine. Well, good to see you. Let's get to the next one.
Jasmine's going to do some social media for me.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right.
Leslie says, but we can be kind to others, right? Being intentionally disrespectful is never okay. No, agreed. Being disrespectful is never okay.
I think the disrespect comes when, again, like I said, if I'm disrespected, I most definitely will come out of character and serve it back. And that's because I strive so hard to respect everybody. But at what point do I say, okay, I will not allow you to speak to me this way?
Yeah, from when did it disrespect you? I think that's, I think I won't put up with someone disrespecting me. I just literally I respond aggressively almost straight away. But the thing I don't do, Michelle, the thing I think I try and encourage everyone to do is let it go. Let go of the emotion. Let go of the thought. Let go.
Like, the burst into song then.
No. If I'm not going to sing for that. If I'm not your friend,
let it go.
I refuse to think about you at all. And when me and Paul had this conversation in the past, right? Me and you too, Michelle. I don't. If you're my friend, I will think about you when I'm with you. When I'm not with you, it's hard enough to think about my friends. But if you're not my friend, I'm never going to think about you, ever. Even when I'm with you, I'm not going to think about you.
Right.
Right. Yeah. So that's what happens. That's just how it is, right? I said I haven't got the energy to carry those people around with me. There's an advert in the UK where people going for the breaks and they carry the furniture with them. They post-it notes. I'm sure you've seen it, Paulette. Right. That's not me. I'm not going to carry your rubbish with me. I refuse.
No.
You're not paying me enough to rent space in my brain.
It comes back to the question: can we prepare for mental wellness? You know who you can engage with. You know what kind of reactions they can ignite. You know what your sense of self is and what you are able to deliver or not deliver. Mental wellness with just scientific data and pattern alone, you can fully plan and prepare. But the important part is to make sure that there is space of the flexibility for the derailment.
Yep. But also, if you're going to do the let it go thing, then you let it go then until it happens again. And then you don't let it go. Then it gets really dealt with.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you have to try to work towards the let it go, because otherwise it can eat you like that bloody snake does.
Exactly that, Paulette.
The snake with the tail.
Yeah, the one that chews his own tail. Those that do that are always funny. You know, again, I
And
think that
Jasmine just says, Jasmine says to Natalie that you're stronger than you think. Take care of yourself. We all think that, Natalie, but obviously you know your health, but we all want you to be well. That's absolutely 100%. We wish you well. So you can come and see us soon. Leslie Flowers said, agreed, respectful civility offers dignity to all parties involved. Absolutely. That is the place, the middle ground, not biting the tail. Michelle Bodenhorn says, as Lil Kim eloquently puts it, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. Is that right?
Yeah, don't start singing, Paulette. Stop yourself.
I wasn't.
You haven't had good wine.
I wasn't singing. No, I got coffee. I'm all right. I'm not singing.
You know, I think the point here is even when I'm dealing with it, I write it off in my mind.
It's the only way.
I managed to literally disengage mentally from most situations. You know, even when someone's excitedly excited about their issue, I'm like, it's not my issue. Yeah, I'm all right, thanks. I literally no. And anyway, so it's the way I find joy. You know, so I unload my baggage pretty much every day, maybe every minute of every day. Let it go, let it go, let it go. You know, deal with it and then let it go. Even when I'm dealing with it, if you unless you are even if you're determined, unless I agree to let you affect my day, you don't. Like really, and that's just the way I live. It makes my life so much easier. It makes something to think about other people.
I think your history, the social worky side, or the working in the charities with such horrendous situations, prepares you, especially with me as a counsellor, prepares you for the horrors that you're dealing with. If you didn't let it go and you went home and did nothing but think about what you've done all day, you would go nuts. No question for it. You would end up in an asylum yourself.
Truly,
because there's so much going on in the world that I've seen and heard and dealt with that you just can't believe is real, but it's true. And you have to just let that go. Otherwise, you would honestly, you would need to be, I mean, you see therapists see therapists all the time. That's part of the deal. But the part is your supervisor would have you signed off within a week. They'd be like, you can't help anyone else in this state, you know? And I think it's really important to understand that. You have to rise above the circumstance until you are out of it, until you face it again the next day. That's how I could live and cope with
exactly
what I
that.
was seeing and hearing.
You know, and hopefully by the
Especially
time next day
COVID.
comes, you got a plan of action. You got a plan of how you're going to deal with the situation. Sometimes you don't, but sometimes
I used to wake up and like knowing what I was going to do. And I would say to Charles, we're going shopping tomorrow. And he'd be like, why? We don't need anything. Or because we're going to go and buy a load of food and take it round to so-and-so's house. Because I happen to just leave it on the doorstep and knock and run and jump in the car. And he'd be like, are you allowed to do that? No, but it doesn't matter.
No, you're not allowed to go.
And we did it, you know? Of course you're not allowed.
What's the point of someone's because the system says no? Because you can't do it for
what they used to say? Guess what? You're never going to guess. I had this delivery and don't know where it came from. And they'd be looking at you like, down, like with side eye, as if to say, was it you?
Yeah,
and I'd
was
be
it?
Like, must have been the fairies.
Yeah.
Those fairies went at it again, you know. But
Natalie,
yeah, you're not supposed to do these things.
No,
Natalie, you've been a superstar for all these messages. Thank you.
I can't see half these comments. I can't see Jasmine's comments. So yeah, but I think I love the way.
Flori says, I am. I love me. Sometimes a little narcissistically. I am mindful of self and who is around me. Absolutely, Jasmine.
I don't even think that's narcissistic at all.
It's self-love. You know, it's not narcissistic. You know, because you're not harming anyone. You know, but you know, it is that falling.
Narcissism, and ego is allowed every now and again.
It's not
It's
ego.
not narcissism.
It's more confidence and more. I think that self-love is what I call it.
Brush your ego. In other words, you look after yourself is to brush your ego. So, you know, it's just taking yourself to the hairdressers and feeling better about yourself is part of self-love. So they call that brushing the ego.
I've learned that loving myself and being secure in who I am and what my purpose and intention is and what I'm doing in life, I've learned that brings out others' insecurities, and where others believe that it's narcissistic or egotistical. The truth of the matter is I have to live with myself. I have to live with the decisions that I wake up and that I do and what I, align my path with daily. And it took a long time for me to realize that other people's intentions do not always align with yours and what is in your best interest. And sometimes where they might feel you're being narcissistic or you're being conceited, what it is a lot of self-consent, like you are, the way you approach people and the way that you address others is very condescending of maybe who you portray yourself as. And when those moments begin to happen, you really need to step back and reevaluate the situation of who you're surrounding yourself with in alignment. My dreams and my purpose in life are far bigger than me, and I don't live for just myself daily. And I've learned small minds cannot comprehend big goals, period.
It's true.
I don't disagree. And there's a part of me that, this room is about how do we lift ourselves. And one of the things as well that I believe is that treating yourself, giving yourself a treat, whether it is your favorite cake, your nuts, if you're any. I don't mean that you are nuts, but you are nuts, but you're eating nuts. But whether it's any nuts or whether it's somebody getting a piece of cheesecake or whether it's going to the hairdressers or whether it's getting your nails done, whatever it is, and if you're going for coffee, whatever you need or you want, whether it's the new David Beckham boxers, whatever makes you happy is got to be right for you. No one can tell you what makes you happy. Only you can. And that is something that we shouldn't try to change. Let's not try and I don't want David Beckham's boxers. So you can keep them. I'll take the nails or the hair or something, right? Somebody else has the box. Somebody else has his nuts. We can all have our own thing, right? And that's good. And that's what makes us happy. And if that gets us to a place of contentment, even for a day or a week, then that has given you something you didn't have before. And that is all you can ever do, is work 1 week to week. If you are talking about your mental health and how you go from week to week, whether it's mood swings, whether it's menopause, whether it's just that time of the month for females, there's 101 things that can affect our moods. And, if we can just go week by week, going through, being as joyful as we can be, finding the happiness in the things we find happiness in, and keeping our mood as high as we can. And if needs be, leaning on people you can trust. Job done.
That's your security.
That's your security.
Those are your friends.
Yes. Yeah.
That is who deserves that label. Like, they're not the colleague, they're not the business partner, they're not the acquaintance or the neighbor or those are your friends.
Yes. Yeah. True friends and people that you can rely on and will have your back. And that's important. And that is important. And, as part of our mental wellness growth, is to remember that when things are absolutely eating you up inside, the best tool in the world is the pen. And I don't talk about the computer as in write it, type it, write it, get a journal and just pour it out on the page. And you'll be surprised at how much it helps declutter your mind and help you think straighter, because that is one of the best ways to take that pressure that builds, that if you don't handle it when it happens, it just gets angry and angry and angry until you can't see the wood for the trees, and that's no good to anybody. So I hope
don't get to that
don't
level.
get to that point. Pick up your pen. It's a very good weapon of choice is my pen. But in all seriousness, it's important. It really is. And journaling and writing out, and if you don't want to call it journaling because that sounds too woo-woo, just say I just get a book and write it, right? It's just reflections. That's good. Anything, call it what you will. It's your book of emptying your head, so you've got space to do other things.
I've also learned that
I hope it's been useful.
I need my group not to sugarcoat. I need the friends that are brutally honest, direct, to the point, that they're not afraid to hurt the feelings. Because it's the ones that want to like sugarcoat or all this and all, like, those are the ones that allow you to sit in the pity party and the self-misery. Like, one of my big things is we can cry about it for 24 hours. I will sit with you and hand you the tissues. But moving forward, after that 24 hours, we can only discuss solutions.
That's good. That's good. And it's a good way of absolutely laying down a boundary. This is part of mental wellness, is boundaries. It's one of the biggest things you can do is put those boundaries in, and that's yours. You know, we'll have the 48-hour, 24-hour pity party. You caught it, yeah? You've written it all down. You've worked it through. Get a highlighter. Big thing. I remember in one of my very first classes, they said, pick up a highlighter and write a line through the bits that are the most important. Exactly. Right. So when you look at what you wrote down, there might only be 4 things highlighted, because actually all of that stuff around it was fluff and anger and venting. But it was these 4 key issues that need to be addressed. And it's a really, really smart thing to do. So weapon of choice, and a highlighter if you feel like it, but definitely try it. Just try it. That's all I'll say, is try it. And you'll be surprised at the results, because I did. And I never wrote a diary in my life, because I was always scared that someone would find it, and what they'd find they wouldn't want to find. So I never had a diary. And so when I was told to write things in a book, I was like, are you sure about that?
When you grow up the way we did, someone's always reading your book. You know, I think I probably had a diary once until it got read in a review meeting by the social worker. You're like, what the hell? And you can imagine what's in it.
One of the things you said,
right? You know,
one of the things you said, Paula, too, is like setting those boundaries. And when I do get into the like real in-depth conversations with others, the one thing that I always want to highlight, because everybody's always asking me, how do you do it? How did you do this? How did you do this? You used to weigh almost 500 pounds. Setting the boundary is the easiest possible thing you can do. By whether you write it, speak it into fruition, it doesn't matter. That's the easiest. The true trial and tribulations and tests come to enforcing the boundaries you put in place. I have set boundaries time and time again in my life, but then to have become failed because of shame and guilt. I felt the shame or guilt for saying this is what I need for me, because this person, I cannot allow them to do it. But then for some reason, I would bend. I would open the door to let just it come through this one time. And where I have learned through this journey over the last, decade, you have to enforce your word. Because if you say it, but then they watch you not stand behind it, you're a liar. You're giving false information. You're not able, the integrity you're building is not true. Like, so for me, it's very important for people to understand you can set a boundary all day long. You can have the right intent.
Keeping
you
it.
have to follow through.
I agree. I agree. Look,
Your word
Natalie
has to be your bond. Absolutely.
So Michelle
Definitely.
says, Natalie, I think we're all a little bit narcissistic. Probably true. So
I think that the word narcissism can be like
overused.
this life
Overused is the word.
Francesco
Overused.
is saying life is hectic. Francesco, your life seems to be very chaotic at the moment. But I'm here for you. So if you want me, you know where I am. So I would say that for me, narcissism it is overused, but also it can be seen as a weapon to call somebody a narcissist when perhaps it's just a weapon, it's just a name. It's just like calling somebody a bad word, swear word. But actually, if you understand what a narcissist is and how dangerous they are, then you'd be very, very careful to stay away from them.
Yeah.
So be very aware when we use words. Again, this is me talking as a friend and a therapist and as someone who's been aware of those words being used. Just we need to make sure you can't.
You can't take it back. The
You can't
moment
take
they're
it back.
released, they're there. There's no taking them back. You should mean what you say, and
don't say it if you don't mean it.
Be ready.
Absolutely. And I think if you're going to be as direct and as factual as to say, I'm accusing you outright of being a narcissist, then that's written down, or it's been spoken in a room, or it's down in paperwork, and it will always be, that was the day that she said blah, like I said about me and the vegans, right? And you just have to be super aware of whatever words are used, that we are prepared to stand by them, and that if we've said them and we're sorry, make sure the apologies are dealt with properly and quickly. But if we've done something and we've hurt somebody, expect a retaliation, because it will come.
You can't expect to speak to somebody in a manner and then not receive it back.
Yeah.
See, the words used in almost to excess these days is narcissist and misogynistic. Everyone loves to beat people around with those two sticks. They think it's because they've heard the word somewhere. They haven't thought about the implication of doing someone else harm. That's what makes those two words wrong. The wrong thing to do. But many people, if they're offended and you're a narcissist. It's just like, please leave me alone.
Show me the receipt.
Yeah, prove it. And then when you look at the evidence, there's nothing there apart from we just disagree. That's all it is, really. Look, Dr. Leslie says she blocks people when they purposely mean. Yeah, that's a solution, right?
I don't block nobody.
Out completely. There's many more to go through. That's why I'm trying to get through them. How many more Michelles can we invite to the conversation? There's many more.
We got a great group.
I think we had 3 today, if not 4, right?
Yeah.
Michelle B, there's Michelle, Whiteside. I'm sure there's other Michelles that we know.
Olu is dropping some amazing comment bombs.
Yeah, I'm getting to them. I'll get there in the end.
And for Felipe, he asked about the ducks. I had to tell him it's like kind of a me at anything. And I had found this at a thrift store for $1. And I'm always being the odd duck out.
You can't blame me. You got it. I said you don't get it. And you're like, no, I'm getting it. Anyway, look.
He's like, don't get that. I was like, oh no, we're getting this. Like, it's gonna be center stage.
He's there in every shot I would see you, Michelle. As you said it would be. There you go.
I would just say this because I think it's really, really important. And I really hope, Michelle, you can hear me. Your disability, being blind and partially deaf, and you've taught yourself to be able to speak and to hear, is unbelievable. Your story is phenomenal and should definitely be in Annie's book. There's another Michelle. And I will say this. If you say something and it gets misunderstood, you, my dear, have grace. We give you grace because 100% anything that comes out of your mouth is said with love and with a good heart. So I would never, ever say that you could possibly offend anyone. And if you do, I can assure you a quick apology is all that's required, because you would never intentionally upset anybody. So I understand that your disability does mean that you say or do perhaps something or gets misunderstood, but make sure, please, that you don't stop writing your messages. Don't stop. I mean, when you used to be in the Cyrus's rooms, unbelievable. Yes. You know, in Cyrus's rooms, you were on the message point. You were fantastic. Never, ever, ever stop, please. That's my message to you.
I agree 100%. Say no one is is better at doing all our conversations. See, there is another Michelle. There's a third. There's a fourth Michelle. Is that Michelle? Is that Michelle G. Whiteside or not? No idea.
Nope.
I have no idea that Michelle.
Those who are
Michelle
on my YouTube, please stay there, like, comment.
Sign up. Was it? What do you have to say? What do you have to say? What's the word you have to say?
Please comment.
Like, subscribe, please.
Like, subscribe, and comment, please.
Autoplay.
Engage. Look, so this Michelle here is going to be my special guest on Any Spotlight on Wednesday. So you actually get to meet her. It'd be a different Michelle because she's not allowed. Everything's got to be funny to make me laugh. So do join us. How she going to turn the narrative?
This is his goal.
Positive. Is it going to be?
That's what I'm saying.
And he's not.
Yes. And he's not will be there.
Innuendo. And he's not.
I would just
it'd be funny to see Michelle.
I've got all kinds of ideas. I'll send you them.
Join us, join us, Paulette. Come and add to you what you know. What's funny about Michelle? Don't be shy. Everyone.
When is it? Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday, 10 o'clock.
When is it?
The Wednesday, 9 o'clock, something like that.
10.
Yeah, so do join us.
I'll have a look.
4:30.
I'll have a look, my love.
I want to address this, but I don't. This is, I was interrupting you, but I think there's a difference between interruption and conversation engagement.
It's not just you. I do it as well. I'm as bad. It's not us, Michelle. It's Paulette. That's why I had to stop and say, let's keep her speak. Because Paulette just talks happily. The fact that we can see each other makes conversing easier. On audio, you need that you talk too much after a while. You hear yourself, you keep talking, right? On this, everyone just carries on talking. And we just interrupt. We're trying to make Paulette stop to have a conversation with her, like you say. But we're getting better, Dr. Leslie. We're getting better. We all are.
And I think that you shouldn't give advice that you don't partake yourself.
Well, it's like Leslie show that Paulette's in and other times. So as all humans have daily, multiple roles. Some can perceive outside negatives where there are none. Yeah, it's true. Some people are offended easily. I'm saying see, I read a book. Act like you don't give a shit. Act Like Nothing Bothers You. There's 2 separate books, those are.
Nothing
That's
bothers
where I
you,
live.
yeah.
I don't, to get me to rise to your negativity, you have to work very hard, seriously hard. Because most times I'm just gonna look at you and go, "You poor thing," and laugh and move on.
If I'm bothered and I'm really fighting and reaching out to try to fix it or rectify, just know you're a friend and I love you. Because it's the moment that you don't get that engagement with me, and I'm just like, brush, you're irrelevant in my atmosphere.
No, it is water off a duck's back, literally water.
What
It has to.
Let's go. I need love and human touch and cuddle to improve my well-being. I need a walk in the park. I need people who
Human social interaction is such, I feel, a commodity today taken for granted. And this is coming from someone that has had to be in isolation with no social support. It is such an under talked about relevant topic. So many suffer. And it's not, it's like this, we're on social media platforms right now. We are engaging, and that is amazing. And especially for people like myself, that the in-person opportunities aren't available. But that is something that we need to address. And with Don't Raise Statistics, that's definitely something I address, is that there need to be local, in-person, tangible, physical interactions and support. Social media has to be put to the side at some point, because at some point, this is really just us in a digital nothing in the universe. Go read some quantum physics. You know what I'm saying? But who are you hugging? Who did you actually get a physical touch with or engagement? Or who did you sit at a table and share a meal with? That is a conversation that does not happen near enough. And for people like myself and family estrangement and others not being able to grasp those realities, it gets uncomfortable. And I've literally lost friendships I thought I would never lose because of their inability to wrap around the reality of it.
Yeah, look, it's an important one. So it's so important, Paulette, that my room on Wednesday, light up your live events, is talking about how do we, as hosts, support people who are truly suffering. I tell you where it comes from. It comes from Henry Stevenson. He's determined that too many people are suffering, and essentially,
he's right.
What's that word I'm looking for? Trauma alert. That's what whatever they call it, right?
Yeah.
Now, literally, they're jumping off. They do themselves in, right? Because there's so much pain, and I'm like, yes, Henry. What do you suggest we do? He's saying, right, so all the room hosts, I think we have a platform to give people a voice, and we can give people a voice and talk the language of, it's not empathy, maybe that's the word for it, but literally understanding, and also giving them a space to talk their truths, Michelle, right? I agree, but I'm at a loss. Paulette, you go above and beyond to do what Michelle just talked about, and I think we live in an age, Michelle, where I think we need to embrace almost the virtual hug. I think we need to accept that the friends who are across the world are your real friends, if they are your real friends. And I said, I'm bothered that some people don't want to accept that our friendship is real because we don't live next to each other. I'm saying we need to move beyond that. We have to.
You've never met any. How can you call him your friend? And he shows up at 4 a.m. for those 3-hour conversations. Don't nobody want to engage in. That is my friend.
Yeah, but it's exactly that, Michelle. There's a phone calls. It's a Zoom calls. It's the meetings we have. It's the fact that we talk, spend time together. And I say, where like Paulette, and I say that I'm making a special effort to go and see Paulette when Angelica comes in, say, middle of the month, right? I'm saying that's possible. Maybe not for other people. When you have friends, yes, if you want to cross the state to go and meet them, the country to go and meet them, you can do that. Go and get that hug, right? But literally, I don't know. It's between build a life, build a real life, before you come online. I get that. You know, have some friends, build some relationships in the IRL,
Well,
and then
I
come
think
online.
I think things like there are park. I don't know if it happens in every country, but there are things like park runs, and I'm not suggesting you have to run because you don't. But people like walk the dogs and go for walks together collectively. If you don't have a dog, that doesn't matter. You just go for the walk. There are arranged things like that in the UK so that people can get up on a Sunday morning who are living on their own or don't have people that they have family or friends new to the area. They can just go enjoy the park run or the park walk, and they can either run if they want to run, they can walk if they want to walk, and they can join in conversations with people that have got dogs, and just generally be with people who are real humans, and just see if there's somebody there that you connect with. Maybe there won't
This
be, but you
existed
tried.
before COVID. Did this like those in the UK, were those like existent before COVID?
Yeah, they're
So
back now. They're happening now.
I think that like
Yeah, they're back happening.
COVID here in the States, I think drew out the need, and is what like I feel personally you see more now since COVID of these public meets and greets than before COVID. And for me, like those are critical and crucial to start forming those bonds. But what that did was, with my self-reflection, taught me of the massive issues I hold with trust and how I need to allow vulnerability and, you know, allow myself to open up to the strangers, because I was guarding. I was just so tight guarded.
I think that would be the case whatever you do, right? And whoever you meet, because that's who we are, because we're damaged and because we are damaged. And that's not just you, that's pretty much everybody. We all have our own traumas we carry, and I call them the rucksack of worries. You know, we all have a rucksack on our backs. But I think it's really important that, you know, that whenever you're carrying that rucksack of worries, that you try to leave some of them at home, right? So that you don't go and meet somebody with all of it. You go and meet somebody with a bit of it. All right. And then they get to know that bit. And then you sit back and make sure. And then you go a bit more, and then you sit back and make sure. You don't just because it's too much.
That's when I learned.
Right. What?
Dump it all on them. Dump everything on them.
That's what I say. That's when I learned to ask permission for the emotional release. Like, ask, could it be handled? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Michelle Bodenham says, non-verbal cues are my daily AUAHD challenge, especially now that my vision and hearing are such an issue. I can't even begin to imagine how hard that is, but you know, we are all there for you, and we do actually care about you. It isn't surface level fluff. It is more than that, and we are here, and we are listening, and we would like to be part of your lives. So I'm glad that you come to these rooms, and are brave. It's
courageous.
What you're doing is very courageous. So we are super proud of you, Mrs. So remember that, okay?
She's like myself. It's like I've been in a situation like Mike Ashburger or even Annie, and it's like they say things, and it's literally over my head. Like I can't. I need that direct, unsugarcoated. Say what you mean what you say. Like don't, because it'll. I miss it. It'll go right over my head. I don't understand it. I'm lost. I'm just sitting here like feeling like a fool.
I've had this with Ben as well. He said to me, he hasn't understood. Oh, Olawasi's here. Hey, you're never too late. Never too late. I can remember Ben saying to me at school that he'd missed a joke and everybody was laughing. So he laughed because he thought he should laugh, but he was just that little bit too late. So he joined in with the ha 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 just as it was all finishing. And it looked like he was a bit, why are you laughing now? And I was like, oh, no, it doesn't matter. And then he didn't have a clue what they were laughing at. And then at break, he had to ask a friend, what was the joke? And it was sarcasm, and sarcasm doesn't always land well with autism. So over the head it went. He's a lot better as he's got older, and he's now very sarcastic himself. But at the time, he found it very hard to understand. Michelle Bodenham, I'm about to volunteer with Deafblind UK. They are going to enhance my alternative communication skills, my health impairment. Excellent.
That's beautiful.
Excellent. Well, let's hope that they are able to help. Absolutely amazing. So
I think that the more we build our own understanding and our own awareness in other sectors and other systems and lives of people, like we only open up the paths to becoming more inclusive and understanding of other people in their walks of life. And that's beautiful that she even has the resources for these opportunities to be available.
Mm. And Nat says, you know, she could potentially be interested too. So, yeah, absolutely. Excellent. Okay, what's our Michelle?
Olu is one of my other favorites with a lot of offline, off-platform, deep intellectual conversations. He is such a beautiful human.
Oluwasi. Olu always says the most beautiful things. He is a beautiful human being. A really beautiful human
Although I'll
being.
tell you, there's a moment I went into an event and I don't know what I walked into, but I heard him and somebody else I truly love being verbally attacked, and I instantly was pulled out of character. And I felt so bad in the aftermath of it, but it's like literally like when you have those alignments in these relationships that you build with people where it is soul-hearted and it's much bigger than just the now. Like, you know, these are your friends, and it's, you know, you and Eddie and Ola, there's so many that I could just say these are my friends. I came to LinkedIn with no expectation, no intention, no agenda. There was no connection collecting or pitch slaps. And I could say if I was to leave the platform today, there is a very small handful of relationships I'm leaving with that I truly believe have blessed Angelina and I's lives.
Mm. And that's lovely, isn't it? That's just a lovely thing to say.
Yeah, that's why we do what we do, and you know, I would say we just ourselves, and you know, and again, I think my point, I think we have to be willing to open to like people that we meet. Especially those that we resonate with. Try to like everyone. I'll say, but no. See, a lot of people, Michelle, I think they come to LinkedIn. Maybe they come to do business. But it never crosses their mind that it's all about relationships. You know, and I tell all my clients, if you're not willing to make relationships, genuine relationships, don't hang around. There's no point. You know, if you're here just to make money from, you know, scam people, even worse, then it's not the right place for you. But no, I think there's my greatest joy is that I found people. That's what I said earlier. We find people who are like us. And that's the joy. That's a true thing.
Those like-minded intellectual conversations that you don't feel guilt. You don't feel bad because you expressed yourself or that you needed to filter what you truly wanted to say, like that is the best tribe to be in.
Yes. I mean, that's what friends are, really. You know, so like I say, you know, one day we're gonna have to remove this distinction between online and IRL. You know, it's just weird, right? Does any have another book coming? Yes, Dr. Leslie, my I Survived and Cheated Death book is coming. That's the anthology. Everyone's in. Yes. No, Michelle's in it. Paulette's in it. The other Michelle's in it. Michelle Bodenhorn is in it as well. And there's many other people. Yeah, Natalie's there as well. So, you know, we're going to talk about how we survived. As Natalie then tells me, what happened to pre-book promo event? Yes, Natalie. I haven't done it yet. So I've got this slight problem. LinkedIn won't let me connect with my co-author, which is a real pain. Have you ever known it happen, Paulette? So me and Selena are friends on LinkedIn, right? Then LinkedIn suddenly cuts the connection. And when I search for Selena, I can't find her. When she searches for me, she can't find me. How? So it's really frustrating, but I'm sure she can still join. We'll do our events, but we'll have to do it through StreamYard. And I don't know how we're meant to make it work on LinkedIn. Well, she streams to her audience, I stream to mine, and so on and so forth. But no, the book is coming for sure. So Michelle and I are working on the co-authors agreement. You know, again, people don't see us doing things late at night. When you lot sleep, we work. We just carry on working. You know, so we're going to create the agreement, and then we'll get everyone signed up, and then we'll get writing. I think Joni's in it as well. I didn't know Joni had a cancer story. So she's written a chapter already.
So Olu's here again. Hang on. I find that being online has its own unique components with regards to interaction and relationships. It takes one just knowing well enough who they are, making a stand, and not being carried in every direction by all kinds of influence. Yeah. You have to know your own mind, Olu, and know who you are. And once you know who you are, everything becomes a lot easier.
Yeah, going through those challenges and allowing the flexibility to know that plans might not always go as planned. Very true.
Absolutely. And you know, we I think you'd be hard pressed to find an individual in this world probably who hasn't got some kind of trauma in their rucksack. You know, what Henry's saying is right. We are living in a world where everybody's carrying something, and some people are very smart and they see people and they help themselves empty their rucksack so that they are less damaged and can carry their lives as normal. But most people, I think you only have to scratch the surface like a scratch card and you find out that the trauma's there because it's never been dealt with. And it's really important that we understand that that is the world that we live in. It's not great. It's not wonderful. You're hard pressed to find families that have still got two parents who, you know, you're hard pressed to find families that aren't blended in some way, or, you know, whichever way you look at it, there's damage here, there, and everywhere. And what we have to do is not allow the damage to control us, to know it's in the rucksack, to know where it is, and to know when to get it out, air it, deal with a bit of it, and then put some of it back in the rucksack for another day. Never
I grew up in a
empty
family
the
where I grew up in a family where my parents were still married, but we were raised in that generation like kids are seen and they're not heard, and you don't cry over spilt milk, and it's my way, do as I say and not as I do. And I think that for me, that was one of those like biggest barriers, like the obstacle I had to get over was I needed to find the balance in, I knew I needed a public life, and I knew I needed my words to be publicly spoken, but I also needed to find the manner in how to deliver the messages that needed to be delivered, because I was always do as you're told, you know, this is how you should feel, this is what you should do. And it's when you got to break molds that you were never meant to fit in. I've had to learn to walk my own path, even when I got to go against what other people believe it should be. Or if I hurt their feelings, for so long I would tiptoe, not wanting to shatter ice because I didn't want to hurt nobody's feeling. But then at the end of the day, I'm sitting there like, but these people just destroyed my internal world with no regards to what their words did to me. And I had to like learn that differential.
There's a book called Untypical by Pete Warmby, and I recommend it thoroughly to anybody. And when I first got the book, eye contact for autistic children or autistic people is very hard. To get autistic people generally to make eye contact is hard. I thought it was really important because I've always used eye contact, that Ben made contact with me, looking at me. And I used to say, look at me, look at me, look at me, you know, because your teachers think you're not concentrating, or because you're not looking at the front of the class, you're looking out the window.
I was told it was disrespectful.
They'd ask a question and he'd answer it. So he knew the answer, but he was facing that way and not that way. And they got really frustrated with him. And I was really pushing him to look at me. And when I read this book, Untypical, in this section about eye contact, and it said, trying to make an autistic child look at you, it's like sticking pins in and needles in their eyes. And I felt like the worst human on the planet.
Angelina, I had
because of what I'd done. Right? What I'd done. And I asked Ben, did I hurt you? Because you feel awful. And he said, it was really hard, but I did my best. And at least now I can do about 80%. And he's quite good with people now. But he does so much and he looks away, and then does so much and looks away. But it was so hard for him. But reading it in black and white, how hard it was. For me,
it was
that
like
was a toughie.
Being raised, it was disrespectful to not do it. And then learning Angelina was not, it's not that she's not capable, but it's like what it does to her mentally was not positively contributing. It was almost like because with her sensory issues, it's even like hugging. Her extended paternal family would be upset if she was visiting, like going to leave, give me a hug. My child don't want to hug you. And at first, in the beginning, 1 year old, 2 years old, no, go give a hug. To where today, my child don't want to hug you. I'm not forcing.
And that is, when you read this book, every single thing is in there that it makes you realize you didn't understand.
I need the name.
Still don't understand all of it. Peter Warmby. You can find it on Amazon. It's amazing. He Warmby. But it's Untypical is his name. But when it came out, I got it, and it really eye-openers for people who are working on no autistic children or have autism in the family. It really is really, really, really worth having. And Sam Hall just said it's hard to read emotions into text. Absolutely. And it positively or negatively, that can be the case.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of people will hide behind the text and DMs. I find that's one of the things I think. That's those who want help, those who need help, as well as the narcissists or the awful
keyboard bandit.
I know. That's what I will say. This I don't work with anyone who does who I don't get to meet. people are most surprised. And when I say let's meet, some just say plain no, and they send you another DM. I'm like, I'm not replying. I'm not wasting my time with you because clearly you have no interest in building a relationship. And if without the relationship, I can't help you, you can't help me. And sometimes I will say, I would put that in DM, saying that if you want to meet, you don't want to meet. If you don't want to meet, let's cut the bullshit. Really, that's also wasted time. And I hear you, Sam, and I don't even try to read the emotions of the text. You know, WYSIWYG. If it's not obvious, you know, I think maybe with sense also when people are being disingenuous, right? I think you can almost tell when someone's being not trustworthy, not authentic, not being honest, not being fully there.
You know, or there are people who just that's just literally who they are, and you got to accept them where they're at and know that this is who they're going to always be.
Look, I think it's part of the conversation today, Michelle. Now, there's some people, right? They want to work with me. I say, all right, let's meet. Whatever, so we arrange a date and time. Before you know it, the meeting didn't happen. Now, let me tell you, when this happens twice to me, for whatever reason, whether it's my fault or their fault, the meeting's never going to happen. I'm like, no, we're not meant to meet. I'm off. Because, you know, I'm very sensitive to the universe telling me that we're not meant to meet. If we're meant to meet, we would have met. I might give you one more chance, and as long as there's a reason to, I'm saying, but I don't waste time or energy on people who I just don't feel that that rapport with. Is there rapport? You have to feel connected in a way. Otherwise, I'm just not. I'm off. I don't care if you got all the money in the world. I say, yeah, well, there's other people who got money, right? Now, some will tell you I'm totally mad. But if the sooner we move away from text to a phone call to a Zoom meeting, the happier I am. I don't waste time on. And to get from LinkedIn to my DM to my WhatsApp, man, it's hard. It's harder than people think, right? I don't do it unless we get on that sort of level of conversation. No. Paulette, what's your take, Paulette? Are men better at disengaging than women? Of course, you
definitely.
Too. Yeah, you think so? No, of course. No, I'd love to know your thoughts on this as well, Michelle. Why not?
I think that it's a human thing, and I don't think that it's related to gender. And I think that ultimately it ties back to people's life experiences and where they are at and where they're going. I think also for myself personally with aphantasia, because of that medical condition, I'm able to disengage and disassociate on levels that many can't even get to.
Yeah, no.
I think the reason I say men more so is because by nature, men are generally a little bit more shut off emotionally. And so therefore, it's slightly easier for them to disengage in terms of interest. Like you just said, you get 3 strikes and you're off, or 2 strikes and you're off, whatever you're going to give them. Your boundaries are set.
Look, I'm wondering because I could hold on, but I choose not to.
Yeah. But that's not unusual. That's not unusual. People do that with dates. You get one date, and if it was a complete disaster, then there's not going to be a second. But you have a date and the person doesn't turn up. Are you really going to give them a second chance when you sat in a restaurant on your own? I don't think so.
No.
Right? Yeah. So, it depends on the circumstance, but generally I would say men can disengage quite easily. And my brother, his answer to everything is no issues. I ask a question, I get two words.
It's all good. It's all good.
No issues. How's everybody? How's the family? No issues. What's that tell me? I'm like
everything for everything.
But Ben Charles says that it means there's no problems, nothing to worry about.
Yeah. You know, it's answer
I'd
your
like a
question.
bit more than 2 words, no issues.
It's fine. Same
That's
thing,
what
right?
it
When
means.
I,
Everything's okay, A-okay.
as Sam says, enter the emojis, man. So that's a frustration, right? I hate. I can't. I don't know what half of them mean. Maybe it's my age. I just don't know what they mean.
I think that
Yeah,
there's some people, I read their messages, I hear it in their voice. Like I can read it, but I hear them like Eddie. Like I can read a message and I hear his tone, his context, his intent. Like I hear it. But then there's others I'm reading that's like, what do they mean? What are they saying? I don't understand. Like
What you have to do is run it any filter.
Yes,
You're gonna have to do.
don't be emoji in my messages. I will stop talking to you after a while because I can't reply anyway. You know, I
don't
send
send
you
any DM novels either.
Hey?
Don't send any DM novels either.
No, don't
like
anything more than
not a real book.
3 paragraphs. You might get away with. Anything longer, TLDR, way too long. I'm not reading. You know, I'm just not. Don't read. No.
You'll get a special note like you have to read this one.
Once in a while, I'm lazy.
Yeah.
What can I say? I'm lazy. I'm lazy. That's all it is, right? I'm lazy. We're nearly done, my friends. No, Sam says, well, Shay says to Sam, precisely. That's why we have to, tread very, very cautiously.
Cautiously, yeah.
It's about saying that this is about conversations for me, anyway. It's about real conversations. Like I said, those meetings, those FaceTime things are there for a reason. You know, anything else I think is not quite there. You know, I will question someone's motives clearly, their intentions if they're not willing to meet. You know, I don't know how you two feel. No.
I think that's a strength and a quality and a skill.
But could you two be friends with someone just on the DMs?
No.
And call them friends.
No, that's why I said no, because you call it friends.
Excellent.
A friend is a very intimate, sacred relationship that should be cherished and valued. And if you got somebody that's just a random in a DM, like there's no fruitful intention of giving in life with just a DM talk person. I mean, if I want a DM talk person, I'm just go make an appointment with my therapist.
I was wondering what example you're going to give then. But thank goodness your therapist is fine. That's safe enough, right? You know.
Just on that note, though, I think that with the lads, they play the computer games and they DM each other and have. And Ben would say they're friends, and I say you don't even know who you're talking to, right? You have no clue. Oh, it's so-and-so is 16 from Manchester. Oh, really? He could be Fred, 42 from Watford, you know?
Like my daughter with Roblox right now. Like, and Roblox just started this like beta talking type thing. And I keep trying to tell her, like, these are not your friends. These are random strangers on the world in a game with access to you. This is why I'm uncomfortable. I don't know these people. They're telling you one thing, but we don't know what the reality is.
They tell you, my foster brother's a policeman, and he always said to me that anybody that Ben spoke to, I should say, can I please speak to your parents?
Yes,
right.
I do that.
And then I would speak to the parents and they would be like, what's wrong? And I'd be like, absolutely nothing. I just wanted to make sure that you are who he says he is and he is who he says he is. And I can tell you that my son is who he is. And so, you know what? That was about as near as to protection as I could get.
I think that there's levels of helicopter parenting that are acceptable and actually should be necessity. Like you ain't got to be that helicopter parent that's overbearing and in their business. Like I just need to know you're safe. I just need to know that you're not engaging in a manner that could cause harm. Outside of that, your conversation with your friend is your private conversation with your friend. I need to know this person on the other side of the world is who they say they are. Period.
That's exactly what he said.
Right,
If you do that, you're winning.
You know, I was wondering how many responses you actually get when you say, "Let me speak to your parents." You know?
Honestly, I have blocked more accounts on her Roblox than I have actually successfully engaged with other parents.
My point exactly.
Ditto.
My point exactly.
Ditto.
It's like,
And then,
I'm
like,
going
you know, something's off when you go to engage and then you get blocked immediately. You're like, oh, this wasn't even a child.
Yeah, no. So Oluwaseyi says it's not that gender thing. What I meant, quicker to disengage on women. I think men. You know, some men. Well, some men, but only a handful, thankfully, from my experience. They will get crazy about we must engage. Even when someone's saying no, I don't want to engage you. Well, you know, I've seen it many times with our friends. I say, literally, it's unhealthy behavior. You know, but anything that's gender based, I always question, because I mean you need a very big, clear divide to sort of back up the argument. No, so no, men don't talk. Some of us do.
I think when it comes to emotions, it's just, I personally don't believe it's fair to assign it to a gender. Because regardless, an emotion is going to be an emotion, what it is, regardless of whether you're male or female.
Damn, my friend.
You're human and you're going to feel something, you know, authentically to your perception, regardless of whether you're male or female. Is it going to hurt me less that you did that because I'm a woman? Like, that don't make sense.
No, my friends. No, look, we can't be here all day. I just like there were three messages, 3 comments I was going to stop at. Now they've added about 25 more. We can't do all of them. We'll be here all night. The more we talk, the more they add. Taisha, I see you. Welcome. Yeah.
Yes, and my daughter doesn't. That's what she don't get. I tell her they're not your friends. These are strangers on the internet.
Yeah. No,
yes,
it's true. It's true. You know, look, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. I said we could be here all night, but no, the simple thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go through the comments. We being Paulette, gonna go through the comments because it's our event. And respond to you where she feels necessary, the way we haven't addressed so far. I gotta do skin like post for that. Come on now. Look, there's many saying me and Michelle are on again on Wednesday. But do join me for that conversation.
Tomorrow, we've got Lisa's event tomorrow.
Yeah, Lisa's event tomorrow. Africa Business Talks tomorrow as well. Well, I want to introduce local councils to Africa. They're like, no. I'm like, yes. I'm telling you. We need local authorities in Africa, everywhere. The same way we have them here, Paulette, with council tax. And they're like, no. I'm going to argue my case. Let's see how it goes. Well, that's like, really? And then Wednesday.
I think it sounds like a very good idea. But
Thank
if
you.
don't get buy-in, then it's not a good idea, is it?
I want to hear.
You've got to get people to agree to it.
Yeah,
Make sure I know when that's happening.
I think the problem I have is there's models of local governance that countries need. Now, Africa is very good at saying that our government doesn't help us, right? You know, everyone, they all say our government doesn't help, but our government doesn't help any of us. Michelle, what's Trump done for you today? Nothing.
Helping himself.
Right. Paulette, what's Starmer done for you ever? Nothing. Everything is done by a local
I'm worried about the mayor locally that isn't even helpful.
Right. I'm saying that they're the ones that we vote in. They're the ones that we harangue to provide services. So the models that we need to get Africa working, they're there. Let's not try and invent a new one. They're trying to tell me they want to do it on the Ubuntu version. I'm saying, tell me what that looks like then.
What about don't raise statistics?
Yeah, well, come and tell us all about it. Come and tell us how it might work. We'll see. Anyway, Jay wants to tell you his duck story as told by Cletus.
I know. I need to know that. And Cletus, like I love Cletus.
Jay, you can come and tell your story, but our time is gone. Really, Natalie's called cerebral connotations. Is that saying you're a bit fruity in the head, Natalie? That same thing, Paulette. I think it is, right?
When I'm called narcissistic, I like to say, yes, I am absolutely confident. I absolutely love myself, and I am absolutely secure with my vision for my future.
Yeah, it's...
If that makes me narcissistic, baby, I'm going to own it.
Yeah, I said I called it self-love again. That's why I say, really.
I was about to say, I don't think that's narcissism, just knowing yourself.
Look, my friends.
I think when you're used to everything that tears you down, doesn't feed your soul, you're used to everything that literally is like counterproductive to what you're seeking, you really learn how to hold your self-value and self-worth at a different standard than many, because I don't know what it is that I'm seeking and what I want, but I know everything I've been exposed to that I never want to revisit or where I want to be again.
Yeah. Look,
absolutely.
That's what we need to, the clarity of who we are, what we want, what serves us, and maybe where we're going as well, and then what serves us, what helps us on that journey. That's what friends are for. That's what relationships are there to help us do. And anything else, anything that deviates from that, I say, look at it properly and think twice. I do. Maybe I won't necessarily shred and burn today, but I will do soon. Are you because it's not if I'm not helping you, you're not helping me. What's the point, really?
You're a connection collector.
Yeah, but I'm not as bad as you, Michelle. You got 100 connections. I'm saying less than.
Absolutely. And I can tell you I engage or personally know every single connection.
That's as a marketer, I would say is truly excellent. That's where we want to be. Mine 9,500. I was at 13. I think I was 14,000 at one time. The LinkedIn got rid of all the dead wood, as they called it, and then I've got rid of more dead wood now.
The followers and the connections are two different things, and I think that when people start like mentally thinking of it in that nature, that it'll get easier. I don't want connections with people that I can't align with the bigger picture of globally making the world a better place.
Yeah, I can understand that. And we shouldn't have to carry those people around with us, as if Paulette mentioned it. I think she said it very well at the beginning. We're not here to collect connections. We're here to make friends and build relationships. You don't need 10,000 connections who are doing nothing for you. And look, our problem is worse than people might realize. Half the people I know have connections they have never, ever, ever thought about. Because they're salespeople who connect with them to try and sell them something. And then when they accept and don't inquire about the product or service, they just sit there, clocking up your life, your numbers. And people think that's a sign of glory, a sign of success. I mean, your way is probably better. But we'll talk about this on Wednesday, Michelle, for sure.
I mean, it's like, for me, pretty much every platform is public. Anything I post is public. But sometimes there's those intimate things that I want to share with connections. And a lot of people don't know. You go on LinkedIn, and when you share something, you can say connections only. And it's not shared publicly worldwide. And that's the same on all platforms, is to share with your private group. If you're just openly raking them in, how is that private? How is that exclusive?
Anyway, look, I can't not show you Natalie's comment. I almost missed it.
I seen that earlier, so I loved it.
I love it, but Natalie, you know I'm gonna moan at you, right? It's like you, Michelle. Today, I'm gonna do my makeup. I'm like, what the hell for? Just turn up as you. You know.
I do my makeup every day for
Exactly.
me.
Exactly. With like Natalie's going to the salon and spa to look her best for our live shows. Don't do it. Just turn up, woman. Just turn up. Just turn up. Turn up. Turn up. You know, go to the
Sometimes it's
funeral.
that self. It's a self thing to feel
It's
good
personal.
for yourself. Yes,
Okay.
like I don't. You
It's
would
not
see me on
felt.
your show in a hoodie, no makeup, looking probably like death. Like I don't care. This for me, I need my daughter to, regardless, see me get up every day, get dressed, do my makeup, like I set the example for what she's going to do in life.
But you never look like death. I said that earlier. You thought I was joking.
And that is me accepting your praise because there have been times I sure felt like I did.
Okay, fine. Okay, I'll keep quiet. Otherwise, I just dig around the hole and keep digging, and I'll never get to escape out of the hole, right?
Oh, dear.
Paulette, Natalie, you do you, is what I've been told, right? You do you.
Absolutely.
Love it.
So, Paulette, thank you for another great show.
Oh, thank you.
Your patience, your responses to everyone is admirable. So, please, how do you want to end the show today, then?
How about we show them a Jack and
Ooh,
Wolf
not
video?
yet. No, you. Hold on. Okay, let me find it. Like I've got it. Are you sure you want to show? I thought it wouldn't show that those videos in this one.
I just wanted to because I thought we'd cheer everyone up.
Okay. All right. So give me a second. Give me a second. Let me actually find the proper one. Otherwise, I know I got it wrong last time.
No, it's okay. Just the one that Cyrus did is fine. With the little boy is fine.
Let's arrange this by date. Sort by date. Otherwise, date added. Okay. So I think we've got Cyrus as well.
Yeah.
I don't know what have I done with his video then? Oh, is that it? I think that's it.
Got a little boy sitting on a step.
Yeah, I'm getting there. So give me a few seconds to get there. So we're back again in 2 weeks' time, my friends. Thank you so much for spending your time with us. And I say, you're troopers, you are, all of you, really. Jay, bring your duck story.
Staying.
I said the 3 hours in, cool. You're good. You get to hear Jay's duck
The thing
story.
about it is, if people are engaged and are interested in trying to help empty their minds and help empty their families' minds and just give themselves a clearer picture of life going forward, then who wouldn't want that, right? And if everybody's engaged and wants to do that, then we'll keep doing the rooms because they're working. They're helping somebody.
Yeah, they're helping me. So that's enough reason to do it, right? No, really, it's would have cleared out my closet, and I did get rid of like 3 or 4 pairs of socks the other day. No, 2 pairs of socks, and the wife was like, "What's wrong with you?" I'm like, "I'm brave. I'm a brave chappy." I'm not really. Pathetic. Pathetic habit.
2 pairs of socks.
The
cleaner does Charles's.
The fact that it went from a thought to an action is a milestone in itself.
Paulette threatened to buy new socks when I went to her house, my holy socks. So I had to get rid of them eventually, Paulette. Eventually. Now,
wait, you're talking about throwing away holy socks?
Yeah. I've got hundreds of new pairs of socks. I just don't like to get rid of anything in my drawers. I just don't.
I used to live this very toxic lifestyle, but this is decades ago. But it was like I literally lived with the mentality like if I could afford to smoke cigarettes, I could afford to wear a new pair of socks every day, and I would never wear a pair of socks more than once.
Really?
I had bags that I would just take to the homeless shelter of socks that were just wore once, washed, and I would just collect them and then go take them down to the homeless shelter. Really? I would never wear a pair of socks more than once.
Worn once. Imagine that. That's.
But I also grew up a lifestyle where there was never new clothes. It was always a hand-me-down. It was always a thrift store. It was always, there was never, so it was definitely, I learned through therapy and self-work. It was much more deep-rooted than a pair of slides. And I don't do that no more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank goodness. It gets rather expensive. That's what happened.
But at least I donated them, like, to a good,
yeah.
you know.
I still have a towel fetish, but we won't go into that.
No, clearly Natalie hasn't got a followers fetish anymore. No, she gets rid of hers. No, they ever engage at least once or twice a year, or she clears out. And she clears out her whole closet quarterly. So everything's under review at every time, right? And
I love that.
That's the way to go. That's
organized.
Yes. My friends, thank you so much. So join Michelle and I on Wednesday evening. Join Michelle and I on Wednesday morning, US time. That's our afternoon, Paulette. We're going to talk about how do we help people who are suffering on LinkedIn. What can we do as hosts? So please join us for those. I've got events on Thursday. They're not set up yet, so I can't really promote them. But thank you so much for being with us.
Invite me, Annie, because I'll forget.
Of course, I'm going to send you the link, the StreamYard link. So it's straight in the studio, straight off stage. No, you got something to add to the conversation, Paulette, and you, Michelle. Look, take care, everyone. So we're gonna close out with Jack and Water's new video, the New School Niggles video by Carol. All right. Paulette, you got comments to go and work through. Don't forget. I'll leave you with that.
I will do it, sir.
Excellent. Enjoy your nights doing that. But Michelle, you're a star, but you know that already, right?
Thank you very much.
I'm just Michelle.
Bye, everyone. Bye, everyone.